last night's 8-5 loss, a tough one. Tigers came in here hoping to sweep. Now they've got to win 2.
Well, it's a tough call they had, Larry, last night. I guess the play at first base was pretty close. It could have gone either way. The umpire thought Waltero missed the bag, and led to about 6 runs. And then they get bit with a strange dog. You know, Romero hasn't hit a home run in 2 years, and he hits one, and it just kind of unfortunately reminds you of the fortunes of the Tigers in 1984 when guys came out of nowhere and did the job. So it's a tough haul now. They got to win 2 to get. They won't be out of it, but they really need to win 2.
Yeah, for Romero, it was his annual home run. He missed last year, but he's gotten a home run every year, and he got 1986's last night. Well, Oil Can Boyd and Jack Morris are the starters today. It's a rematch of a game played on Monday night at Tiger Stadium. In that one, Jack was just excellent, and they need another strong performance from him today.
They do, and I expect Jack will pitch well. You know, you keep saying that, and you know the guy can't go out there every time and be a magician. He's just been fabulous, and he's done it more than anybody could expect. And the Tigers have hit Oil Can Boyd pretty good. They handle him very well, and he's a good pitcher with good stuff. And so it should be a good game, but Jack's going to have to once again reach down and save him.
It was interesting the last time these two teams met with these two pitchers working. Oil Can Boyd was out in the bullpen very early before the start of the game. There was some speculation that maybe he left the game in the bullpen. We'll have to see what happens here this afternoon, but he really hasn't found it since coming back from the suspension.
Well, you know, Larry, that's tough to do, and the young man had a lot on his mind and obviously had some problems, and he's overcome them now, but you can't set out 2 or 3 weeks and jump right back in the flow of things, and it's going to take him a little while, and yet he's a key man on this Boston staff. They're not very deep. They must have him pitch. Some guys like to warm up a long time. Other guys like Mickey Lolich and Denny McLean, they could twirl their arm and say, I'm ready to fire, but you know, 5 or 10 minutes was enough. But some guys, they need more.
Well, it should be a good one. We hope you'll stay with us. We'll be back with the Tigers batting order in just a moment. You're watching Pro-Am Sports.
Tiger Baseball is brought to you by Highland Superstores. Highland, everything you never expected from an appliance store with everything you need to make your sports viewing more enjoyable. By Stroh's and Stroh Light. Now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is spoken here. By Ford and your local Ford dealers. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by True Value Hardware. More than just a name, it's their way of doing business.
And Jim Northrup at Fenway Park on a hazy, cloudy, humid afternoon as the Tigers and the Red Sox get set for Game 2 of this 3-game series. And here's Jim with the batting order for the visitors from Detroit.
Leading off, and playing second base, Lou Whitaker. The shortstop batting second, Alan Trammell. Batting third, playing right field, Kirk Gibson. The designated hitter for the Tigers today, batting fourth, Johnny Grubb. Fifth hitter, playing first base, Darrell Evans. Batting sixth, playing third base, is Darnell Coles. The seventh hitter, playing left field, Dave Collins. Out in center field and batting eighth, it is Chet Lemon. The catcher batting ninth, Dwight Lowry.
That's the batting order for the Tigers. They'll be facing Dennis Oil Can Boyd this afternoon. It's a rematch of the Monday night meeting in Detroit. The Tigers prevailed that one 5-0. And here's Oil Can statistics.
Oil Can Boyd is 11-8 with a 3.80 earned run average. This will be his 21st game. He's pitched 144 in the third innings, 145 hits, 66 runs, 61 of them earned. He's given up 24 home runs, 33 walks, and 80 strikeouts. Throws a fastball, curveball, and he's been working on a screwball that's more like a changeup. But he does throw fastball, curveball, and slider, and there's a lot of speculation from some of the people. They aren't too thrilled with the screwball that he's fooling around with because when it doesn't go down, it goes out. And the hitters love that spinner up there if it doesn't move down.
Well, he has given up 24 home runs this year. His earned run average at 3.80. The Tigers in fourth place in the American League East starting today's play have dropped 2 in a row now. They're 7 games behind the Red Sox. Boston coming in with a 68-47 win-loss record. And Boston, after that lull, is back on a bit of a roll now. They've won 3 in a row in 7 of their last 10 ball games. They are 4 games in front of the Yankees starting today's play. Behind the plate this afternoon will be Rich Gedman for Boston. Bill Buckner plays at first, Marty Barrett at second. Ed Romero is the shortstop, and Wade Boggs over at third. In the outfield, Jim Rice plays in left. Tony Armas in center, and Dwight Evans is the right fielder. Umpires this afternoon: Tom Leppard behind the plate, Drew Coble at first, Mark Johnson at second, and Don Denkinger is at third base. We're about ready to go with the second game. It'll be Lou Whitaker, Alan Trammell, and Kirk Gibson to face the oil can. Boyd again this afternoon made an early trip to the bullpen to warm up, as he did on Monday night in Detroit. We'll see whether it's a factor here this afternoon. It is a definite possibility we'll get some showers this afternoon. A pretty heavy overcast, a very high humidity, and a lot of haze in the area. Breeze is blowing out towards center field this afternoon. And here's the first pitch of the ball game. It's in for strike one. Lowe was 2 for 5 last night with a double.
Both Lou Whitaker and Alan Trammell have really been hitting the ball as of late, and it's made a lot of difference. The Tigers score runs when those two fellas get on base.
Ground ball up the middle for a base hit for Whitaker. Tigers put their leadoff man aboard, and Alan Trammell will come up. Trammell was also 2 for 5 last night. He had an RBI and a double.
And we'll see the reason why Lou Whitaker has been hitting very well. He's hitting the ball straight away. That ball's on the outside part of the plate. If he pulls it, he hits it to second base, but he hit it straight away, blasted it right through the oil can's legs, and he's on first base. And that's good for the Tigers. It gives Alan Trammell a chance to hit and run, to bunt, get the runs scored. Both Alan and Whitaker run very well, and Alan's brought his average way up to 273.
He has hit exceedingly well recently in the last 19 games, batting almost 400. A 395 pace with 14 RBIs. He had one here last night in the 8-5 loss to the Red Sox. There goes Lou. He had a running start, ground ball to the right side, picked up by Barrett, and he gets Trammell. So there's one out, but Whitaker advances to second base, and Kirk Gibson will come up. Boy, it looked like he just flat forgot that Whitaker was at first, and Lou had a big jump.
It's too bad as a hitter that you can't see this coming and lay off the pitch when you see you have a big lead like that, but the hit and run was on. Allen did not get it as far to the right as he wanted to, and he hit it to second base. Got the job done getting Whitaker to second base, but didn't hit it through the hole at second where he wanted to.
Tigers with a runner in scoring position, and Kirk Gibson, who has been battling a slump recently, is up there. He was 0 for 5 last night. The pitch from the can is swung on and missed. One strike to Gibson.
Gibby's been struggling the last week. He's pulling his head off the ball. A lot of times you get in a rut and you don't feel well at the plate. Gibby says he has not felt comfortable at the plate, and you pull your head off, you think you have to swing a little harder, and head and the bat come right off the ball. He needs to just hit it straight away.
Oh, one pitch is swung on and missed, and it's 0-2 to Gibson. Oil can expends a lot of energy out there. He is always walking off the rubber, behind the mound, stomping around, coming out front, clearing the landing area. He's ahead of Gibson, 0-2. He turns. Whitaker dives back in, feet first. There is no throw. Baltimore playing at Cleveland today, and Yankees at Kansas City, and other games of more than passing interest to Tiger fans. It'll be Flanagan and Phil Niekro at Cleveland. Rasmussen and Jackson at Kansas City. There's a drive to right field for a base hit. Whitaker's being waved home. He'll score easily as Dwight Evans wheels it into second base. And the Tigers take a 1-0 lead on Kirk Gibson's solid single to right field. Now the Tigers are off and running here in the opening inning.
This is not a very good pitch by Ken Boyd when he's way ahead in the count. He made far too good a pitch for Kirk Gibson. Kirk stays right on it, drills it down the right field line. Dwight Evans gets a good jump on the ball. They play Kirk to pull the ball, so Kirk can only get a single, not a double. Whitaker has no trouble scoring at all.
Tigers take the lead 1-0, and John Grubb, one of the Tigers' hot bats, will step up. He is the designated hitter, batting in the cleanup spot. He was 2 for 5 here last night with a double. Kirk Gibson at first base has stolen successfully 24 of 29 attempts. That's fouled straight back. 1 strike to John Grubb. Interesting article in USA Today yesterday about the major leaguers most likely hit a home run when he comes to the plate this season. And it's this man, John Grubb, averaging a home run in every 11.7 at-bats. Tigers also have Lance Parrish and Kirk Gibson on that list. There's some interesting names there. Of course, it's all related to the number of at-bats that you have, and the home runs, of course. But Rob Deere is second to Grubb. Kenny Phelps of Seattle is third. Then Jesse Barfield, a fellow you would figure to be up there. There goes Gibson. A drive toward left center. A long run for Armours, and he'll never get it. Gibson will score easily. Grubb is headed for 2. Here comes the throw toward second, and John's in with a run-scoring double. Well, John Grubb just keeps on banging them around the ballpark and scores the second Tiger run of the afternoon with a 2-bagger.
Here we're going to see Kirk is running on the play, and the ball is on the outside part of the plate. John Grubb has really hit the ball the opposite way so well lately, especially the last couple of weeks, with power. He's hit a grand slam home run and other home runs in Tiger Stadium to left field. This ball, even though it's only 380 feet, it was to left center, and Armas was playing him to pull a little bit. Easy double, and another run scored. No one warming up in the bullpen. Gedman's going to go out and talk to him for a little bit, try and settle him down.
Lou Whitaker led off the inning with a single. He went to second on Alan Trammell's ground out. Then Gibson followed with a base hit, scoring the first run. And Grubb doubles home the second for Detroit. John McNamara, the manager for the Red Sox, looking on from the Boston dugout as Darrell Evans steps in. Evans, with a home run last night, was 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. The pitch from Oil Can is in for a strike. It's a standing room only crowd here again this afternoon at Fenway Park, as was the case last night and will be again tomorrow. Here's the 1-strike pitch. Fastball misses, and it's 1-1.
They have always drawn well here in Boston, but now that they're leading the league and Tigers being one of the contenders, the fans have really come out. Tickets are hard to come by.
And it's going to get tougher, we understand, as this season wears on. They wind up at home. They've got a pretty good break on the schedule. They complete their 1986 season with Toronto, Baltimore, and New York here at Fenway Park. And if the Red Sox are still in first place and there's any race at all, it's going to be nothing but jam-packed here at Fenway. 2 balls and a strike to count to Darrell Evans. John Grubb is out at second base. 2 runs are in. That's in for a strike, and it's 2-2. Red Sox have drawn about $1.5 million for the 56 home dates to date. They expect to break the 2 million mark. That'd be the highest since 1979, when they drew 2.3 million. Two and 2, the count to Evans. Tigers lead 2-0 with a runner at second and 1 out in the opening inning. The pitch from Boyd skips up there, knocked down by Gedman, and Grubb stays at second. So it's a full count to Evans. Gedman again out to chat with him. Boyd lost to the Tigers Monday 5-0. The previous start was also in the loss column, 3-1 to the White Sox. He hasn't had during his career a lot of success against Detroit, 3-7, but Here at Fenway Park, he's won 3 out of 5. Kind of a stoic expression on McNamara's face as he looks out from the Boston dugout. 3-2 to Evans. Grubb is at second base with 1 out and 2 runs in. And the pitch from Boyd is driven up the middle, grabbed by Romero. Grubb goes to third, and Evans is out at first. So there are 2 gone, and Darnell Coles will come up. Coles was 0 for 3 here on opening night. Has a chance to drive home the Tigers' 3rd run. John Grubb is at third base with 2 out.
That was good running, with John Grubb. And anytime the ball is hit to your left when you're on second base, you can go to third base, especially if you know where the infielder is playing. And Romero was playing Evans to pull. Evans hit it very well, but right at him. Johnny Grubb came on over to third base. Now can score on an error or a wild pitch, anything that happens.
1 ball, no strikes to Darnell Coles. Tigers lead it 2-0. And the 1-0 pitch cut the outside corner for a strike. 1-1. It's a big crowd here at Fenway, slightly subdued in the early goings. The Tigers strike for 2 runs in the first inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Coles. That's up and in. 2 balls and a strike. Now the 2-1 pitch from Boyd. That's fouled over by the Tiger dugout, which is located along the third baseline here at Fenway Park. So the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes to Darnell Coles. John Grubb at third with 2 out. And the pitch to Coles is hit to the right field. Dwight Evans is going back. He's there and makes the catch. Now the Tigers are out in the opening inning, but they scored 2 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors and 1 man was left. We've played a half inning in Fenway Park. It's Detroit 2 and the Red Sox coming up. A leadoff single by Whitaker, followed by the ground out of Trammell. A single by Gibson scoring a run, and a run scoring double by John Grubb put the Tigers on top. We'll take a look at the Boston batting order and see what the Red Sox have in store this afternoon.
Leading off, playing third base, Wade Boggs. At second base, batting second, Marty Barrett. The left fielder batting third, Jim Rice. Designated hitter today for Boston, batting fourth, Don Baylor. Out in right field, batting fifth, Dwight Evans. The sixth hitter playing first base, Bill Buckner. Batting seventh and playing center field, Tony Armas. The catcher and batting eighth, Rich Gedman. Playing shortstop and batting ninth, Ed Romero.
That's the batting order for the Boston Red Sox, and they'll be facing Jack Morris, who searches for his 15th victory of the season.
Jack's 14-7 with a fine 3.06 earned run average. It's his 26th game. He's pitched 188 innings. He's got 162 hits. He's given up 70 runs, 64 of them earned, 26 home runs, 56 walks, and 162 strikeouts. Jack, of course, throws the fastball, slider, split finger pitch. He'll change up, too. Jack has just been phenomenal since the All-Star break. He has pitched as well as anybody could pitch. I think he's only had 1 outing where he gave up very many runs. And he's just been very, very good and has been the stopper and lifesaver so far for the Tigers. And he's going to have to do it again today.
Well, as Jack said, I'm only one man. I'll do the best that I can. I'll need some help. He's been getting some of that, but he has been doing a whale of a job. He's won 7 of his last 8 starts. The only shaky outing that he had was against the White Sox, but he bounced back nicely with 1 day short of his regular rest to blank the Red Sox the last time out. He's 2-1 against Boston this year. Oddly enough, he has had less success against the Red Sox than any other team in the American League. He has a 9-11 win-loss record against Boston. It's the only team in the American League that holds the edge over him. He has split against Baltimore and Chicago, and he holds winning records against every other team. So Morris is called upon this afternoon. His mates have given him an early 2-0 lead. But the way this Red Sox team has bounced back with their bats and playing in Fenway Park, 2-0 in the first inning cannot be considered a safe lead.
This is a fun park to play in, and that's part of it, Larry. You never have enough runs in this ballpark. I've seen 10, 11 run leads evaporate here so quickly it make your head spin. Can't even get a guy out of the bullpen warmed up in time. And it's just a delightful ballpark to participate in, and as for the fans to set in there, you're close like in Tiger Stadium. You're even closer than Tiger Stadium, and the fans are good fans here, and it's just a real charming little ballpark. I hope they never ever quit playing baseball here, because it's my favorite park and so much fun to watch a game.
It's the 75th anniversary of this ballpark. It has, as Jim mentioned, a long and a lot of lore connected with it. It's burned down twice. In 1926, the bleachers, which were located along the left field foul line, burned down. They weren't replaced, and the fielders could go behind the foul lines and behind the third base grandstand at the time and make catches and foul balls. Then about 8 years later, practically the whole ballpark was burned and refurbished by Tom Yawkey, who was at that time the new owner of the club. But there have been some greats that have played here over the years. The Ruths, the Ostremskys, the Williams. It could take a long time to name the big ones that have played here. Tigers defensively, Dwight Lowry behind the plate, Darrell Evans at first, Lou Whitaker at second, Alan Trammell at short, Darnell Coles at third, outfield left to right, Dave Collins, Chet Lemon, and Kirk Gibson. First pitch to Wade Boggs is in for a strike. Boggs was 2 for 4 here last night. His average stands at a nifty 354.
He's 2 for 4 every night, isn't he? Or
Seems
3?
like it, doesn't it? It really does.
This poor guy, if he goes 2 for or 1 for 4, he's had a bad night. Or 1 for 3, even his average goes down. Right. He's got to get 2 hits to keep the average going up. But he's a hitting machine. 240 hits last year. He has a 351 lifetime.
Here's the 1-1 pitch to Wade, driven to left field. Collins going back at the wall, grabs it. He hit it on a line, but Davey went back onto the warning track and picked it off, and there's 1 out in the Boston first. Tigers lead 2-0 with Marty Barrett coming up.
This is why Wade Boggs is such a great hitter. He hits the ball where it's pitched. That ball's down and away, and he hits a line shot to left field that Davey Collins gets back on and makes a nice catch. Wade hit it too good that time. Normally that's he just takes a little line drive and just hits it. It's almost as if he can place it with a magic wand, just pokes it into left field. That one he hit too good. Didn't get it up on the wall.
Marty Barrett is the batter. He's hitting at a 284 pace. Pops the first pitch foul. This will be out of play. 1 strike to Barrett. He was 1 for 4 with an RBI last night. The Red Sox scored all 8 of their runs in the 5th inning, and then had to hang on as the Tigers came back but could not come all the way back and fell 8-5 to the Red Sox.
Marty Barrett's an excellent second place hitter. He can hit and run. He can bunt. He runs when he gets on well. He puts the ball in play. He's hitting 284.
He bangs it to the right side. Evans tosses it over to Morris, and there are 2 out in the Boston first. With 2 gone and nobody on, Jim Rice will bat. Jimmy 1 for 5 with an RBI in opening game here last evening. He hits in the 3rd slot.
Not hitting as many home runs as usual. He hit 27 last year. He only has 11 this year, but his average has improved considerably, hitting 327. He's been going the other way to right field and to center field more than ever.
Ground ball left side. Trammell handles it and throws him out. It's an easy inning for Jack Morris in the first. Nothing across, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We've played one inning in Boston. It's Detroit 2 and the Red Sox nothing. Larry Osterman and Jim Northrup at Fenway Park in Boston while the Tigers lead the Red Sox 2-0. They'll send the lower third of the order to the plate in the top of the second. Dave Collins, Chet Lemon, and Dwight Lowry against Oil Can Boyd, who was tagged for a couple of runs on 3 hits in the opening inning. First pitch to Collins is low for a ball. David batting .290 from the left side. He was 1 for 4 last night. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Boyd. That misses. 2-0. There's a drive to right field for a base hit. Well, Boyd again falling behind the hitter, and Collins rifles a 2-0 pitch to right field for the 4th hit off Dennis Boyd. Tigers with a base runner, and McNamara again wondering what's happening out there.
And you have to throw a good hitter like Dave Collins a ball down the middle. That's what's going to happen to you. You can't pitch behind hitters forever and get away with it. Davey gets the fastball. He's an excellent fastball hitter, and he slaps it into right field.
It'll bring up Chet Lemon, who has bounced back in the mid part of the month of August and has gotten his bat under control and has provided the Tigers with a little bit of extra punch in the lower part of the order. He was 2 for 4, a couple of RBIs here last night. Whoa, that's an interesting little move, wasn't it? But Collins was not napping.
Sorely needed bat of Chet Lemon is a right-hand hitter, and he can supply some power. Has hit in the past. Not very many home runs this year, only 5, but Chet has shown some signs of really coming through, and the Tigers really need his bat in the lineup.
There goes Collins. Pitch is swung on a miss. Gedman's throw got him. Collins didn't have a great jump that time and was cut down by Gedman on a good strong throw, and there's 1 out.
Davey didn't get a jump as good as he normally does, or he would have been safe, but it takes an excellent throw. You see Gedman coming out and throwing that ball, and it's right there on the bag where the foot is, and it's all she wrote when you get a throw like that.
Nice throw by Gedman. Erases Collins. There's 1 out now, and it's 1 strike to Lemon. That skips away. 1 ball, 1 strike to Chester. He's hit safely in his last 3 games, going 6 for 12 with 6 RBIs. One ball, 1 strike to Lemon. That's low. 2-1. Dwight Lowry is in the on-deck circle. He'll bat next. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Strike on the outside part of the plate. 2-2 to Chester. They're still coming in here at Fenway Park. All of the seats were sold. Standing room only was on sale for today's game. I imagine there's a bit of a traffic jam outside the park. There's a traffic jam in Boston all of the time.
I was just going to say, he just moved it over here a little ways.
2-2 pitch and another base hit. Rice is over after it. Lemon's going to try for 2. Here's the throw, and he's going to be a goner. Chester challenged Rice's arm, and Rice won. 5th hit off Boyd, but 2 fine defensive plays, one by Gedman and now by Rice, keep him out of serious trouble.
There's a fastball in the inside part of the plate, didn't get it in, and Chester lines it into left center field. Jim Rice does a good job of coming over and cutting this ball off. It's worth a chance if you're ahead in a ball game. It took a good throw.
They got it.
Chester is out by a mile. Well, when you're thrown out that far, maybe it isn't such a good play, but it takes a good throw. If the throw is off left or right, then Chester is safe. And trying to be aggressive when you're ahead in the ball game, that's the time to do it. But Detroit has wasted 2 hits here. Oil Can is getting the ball and throwing a straight fastball, not getting it in very good spots, and they're hitting line drives all over the field. He's been very fortunate to be behind 2-zip.
Could have been a whole lot worse, but that's where it is. 2-0, and there are 2 out. And Dwight Lowry bats with nobody on. Tigers with 5 hits in the first inning and 2/3. He squares to bunt. It's 1 strike. Collins started the inning with a base hit to right, was cut down in attempting to steal. Chet Lemon singled to left center and was cut down attempting to stretch it to 2. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Misses. 1 ball, 1 strike to Dwight. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on. 1-2. The 1-2 delivery. Strike 3 call. So Oil Can records his first strikeout of the day. The Tigers are retired. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, nobody left. We'll go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. It's Detroit 2 and Boston nothing. 2-0. Tigers lead as we start the bottom of the 2nd with the middle of the order for Boston. Don Baylor, Dwight Evans, and Bill Buckner. Jack Morris, Scott Boggs, Barrett, and Rice in order in the opening inning. Baylor's the DH, Evans the right fielder, and Buckner the first baseman to face him here in the 2nd. Tigers scoring 2 runs in the opening inning, added a couple of more hits in the 2nd, but caught stealing and an ill attempt to stretch a single to a double cost the Tigers any scoring opportunities.
Don Baylor has come over here from the Yankees for Easler, and kind of a good trade for everybody. Donnie's provided some leadership and stability over here for Boston. He's happy playing here. He's not platooning like they had him doing in New York, and has 21 home runs and really is a catalyst on this ball club.
It's 1 strike to Baylor, who didn't like it and converses with Tom Leppard.
It was a bad pitch in the dirt. Don tried to hold up, and he did not. He thinks he did, and has a little argument with the umpire, and he's still shaking his head. He's not going to change his mind, Don. I'll bet you on that.
No.
Called the groove. We call him in the groove over in Baltimore. When this man gets in the groove, there's nobody can get him out. And when he's not hitting, you and I, Larry, might have a shot at
Well,
it.
speak for yourself. I don't think I'd have a crack at it.
You mean you couldn't get it to the plate?
Well, I might be able to do that, but I don't know if he can hit that high arc.
Yeah, you got a limited arc. Unlimited arc, you'd be okay, huh? Like in softball.
Yep. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Donald, and it's low and away for a ball. 2-1. Leppard was the umpire at first base who was involved in that controversial call last night. In the 5th inning, the Red Sox went on to score 8 times, and that was the difference in the game. Swing and a miss by Baylor, and it's 2-2. Baylor has, as you probably know by now, established an American League record for being hit by pitches in one season. He's been conked 25 times already this year.
Don stands fairly close at the plate and will not give even a quarter of an inch. He will stand like a block of granite, and if you throw it at him, he'll let it hit him.
Cole short hops it nicely. The long throw, and there's 1 out in the 2nd inning. So Morris has retired the first 4 men to face him, and now we'll take on Dwight Evans.
You see the pitch. Morris gets it inside on Don. Don is a little better low ball hitter than he is a high ball hitter. If the ball's out over the plate, he can handle that high pitch, but he's inside. You can get in there, but you better have something on it. Jack did, He beat it in the dirt to Darnell Coles, who made an easy play.
Little delay here. Darnell watching as Dave Collins went over to the corner in left field to pick up
Looks like one
ball
of
of
those
some
sponge
sort.
footballs.
Dwight Evans will bat. He was 0 for 3 last night. He's up there with 1 out and nobody on here in the second inning. The last 8 ball games, Evans has batted at .308. The Red Sox bats are starting to come back after a bit of a drowsy spell on that West Coast swing. They have some guys now that over the last 10-12 games have been ringing the bell around the ballpark. There's a long drive. If it stays fair, it is a home run. Dwight Evans, 17th homer of the year. Never any question about the distance, but it was curving toward the line. Dropped safely in the net, and the Red Sox are on the board. It'll be 2-1.
Nothing unusual for this guy. If I've seen it far too many times. He always hits well against the Tigers. I remember even when I was playing against him, he'd always get 1 or 2 homers every series. He caught a pitch there and he just racked it. That ball is way out over into the apartment houses over yonder. Headed.
Evans now has 33 career homers against Detroit Tiger pitching. It's 2-1 now. The Tigers lead cut in half with Bill Buckner up there. It's the first hit of the ball game off Jack Morris and the 27th homer allowed by Morris this year.
Dwight Evans had 29 of them last year, and he has 17 now this year.
It's fouled straight back. He now has 73 RBIs. Those middle 3 guys, actually the 3rd, 4th, and 5th hitters, all have 70 or more RBIs. Rice has 73, Baylor 79, Evans 72, and then Buckner follows. He has 66. Two to 1, Tigers lead. 1 out, nobody on, and Buckner is up there with a 2-strike count on him.
Bill Buckner is an excellent hitter. He's had some injuries this year. He hit .299 last year. He's only hitting .246 as an average, but he does have 10 home runs and 66 RBIs. Excellent glove man at first base. Not hitting for the high average this year.
Well, he's really been hobbled. He's had to miss some games because of the bad heel. He's going to have surgery following the season. He's one of the walking wounded that the Red Sox have played with throughout much of this year. But they've all pulled together and have themselves a 4-game lead. This is popped to shallow left. Collins coming in. He's got it, and there are 2 out in the second. So with 2 out and a run in, Tony Armas will bat.
Tony, going to see a replay of Evans. There wasn't any doubt when he hit this. It was a matter as if high. Yeah, that's high enough. Yep, when they stand around and look like that, it's all over, gang. He just wanted to make sure it stayed fair, and it just cleared everything. Well, if you're going to give it on, they only count 1 no matter how far they go.
That's
Might
right.
as well salute it. Paul Foytak used to salute those long ones. He said, goodbye.
Hasta la vista.
What? It's only 1. Might as well hit it 500 feet as scrape the fence 325.
Right.
It counts the same. Paul was proud of those long ones.
Here's the 1-0 pitch to Armas. Checks the swing.
He's funny. You ask him how he held it. He cross seam. What else? How'd you hold that pitch, Paul? Oh, cross seam about 450 feet.
Tony a bit frustrated with his inability to contribute as he has over the years with this ball club. The average is down. His power totals are down. This is line fair ball. Armas is trying for 2 as Collins has to come back to make the pickup, and Armas is on with a double. The second hit off Morris, and the tying run is at second base with 2 out.
Armas has had injuries, and he catches this pitch with Jack gets it right in the middle of the plate. Tony stays right on that ball with his head. He pulled it down the left field line, and it gets down in that corner and catches. You never know how it's going to come off, but it hit the wall square and came back out. Davy Collins, not used to the left field wall, went to the corner. You don't do that. You come up the line. It will come off. It won't go around that corner when it goes down there. It'll come back toward the infield.
There's so many different angles. You saw that door down there in left field. There are doors in center field. There are doors in left center field. And there's so many angles in this ballpark. You really have to take a look around when you go out there to play the position.
You do, and you have to be careful. As I said on that one there, normally the ball will come back down the line, so you can take a chance that way. You don't go in the corner, because you get in the corner and it snaps back off the wall. You're left standing there, as Davy was there.
2 strikes to Rich Gedman.
It's a tricky field to play, but it's fun. I mean, you never know what's going to happen here.
That's a fact. Morris trying to get the final out of the second, and it's popped up. Should conclude the inning as Whitaker goes back to the outfield grass, and that's it for Boston. Red Sox score a run on the home run by Evans. There were 2 hits in the inning, no errors, and 1 man was left. We'll go to the 3rd inning. It's Detroit 2 and the Red Sox 1. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Detroit Baseball Club and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our past subscribers. Any use or reproduction of this game without the express written consent of the Detroit Baseball Club is strictly prohibited. It's 2-1, the Tigers lead as we go to the 3rd inning. Lou Whitaker will lead it off. Alan Trammell and Kirk Gibson will follow against Doyle Can Boyd, who thus far has been touched for a couple of runs on 5 hits.
We were talking about the peculiarities of this field, Larry. I'll tell you something. An overcast day like this is a pleasure for the outfield. The stadium isn't very high here, and when you get a high sky, and I don't know how to explain a high sky except that it's all blue and there's a sun out there, and the sky is always high, but it's unbelievable.
Hit to left field, Jim Rice over in left center, and there's 1 out in the 3rd inning.
Early in the game, in the first 3 or 4 innings, here we see Jim Campbell and Al Kaline, and
they're keeping George Kell off the picture.
Yeah, poor George.
George
Cut him off. Jim looks like he's real happy, having a good time. Kaline's trying to go to sleep.
Busman's holiday for those guys.
Anyway, the sun is straight up here, and I'm telling you, in the first 3 or 4 innings, it's off. You cannot hardly see anything as a center fielder. Then later on, the right fielder has it right in his eyes, and you can't see a line drive at all. It's a tough field to play, but as I said before, I love it. It's fun. I've seen 8, 9-run leads evaporate quicker than water off a hot griddle.
I knew we were going to get to one of those pretty soon.
You ever see that drop a little water on a hot griddle and watch it bounce and jump all around? It isn't there very long, is it?
Nope.
I saw an 8-run lead disappear that fast. They couldn't get a reliever. Buff Wyatt couldn't get warmed up in time. Then he threw a grand slam when they got him in here.
There's a fly ball, is going foul down the left field line. Allen had it measured off all right, but he pulled it too far to the left, and it went foul, and the count is a ball and 2 strikes. Tigers lead it 2-1. We're playing in the 3rd inning, 1 out. And the count is a ball and 2 strikes to Trammell, and he drives it. Nice play by Boggs. Here's the throw. Safe. Buckner almost did a pirouette. Boggs made a sensational play, but couldn't get Trammell.
Alan Trammell has excellent speed and beats this out. This ball's hit hard. You can see it's a good curveball, too, down around the knees, and Alan hits it on the end of the bat in the hole. Wade Boggs makes a great diving play, gets up fast, makes a good throw. He should be out. But I don't know. It's hard for us to tell with that angle. The umpire said he's safe. It looks like it's about a tie, and when it is, supposed to go to the runner, and this time it did. We see Boggs get up. He does make a good throw. Nothing wrong with the play at all, and you can see it's pretty darn close. It could have gone either way, and the umpire said safe.
So it's an infield single for Trammell. It's the 6th hit of the day for Detroit. Kirk Gibson is the batter. He singled home a run in his first at-bat.
Both Kirk Gibson and Darrell Evans have not hit well the last week, and if the Tigers are going to go anywhere, they're two of the key fellas. Those two fellas, Chet Lemon and Larry Herndon, the four of those guys really have to supply the power from the left-right side.
Gibby bounces one through. Trammell heads for third, and Evans' throw goes to second, and the Tigers have them at first and third with one out in the third inning. It's the 7th hit off Dennis Boyd and Gibson's second of the afternoon.
We're going to see it again. Oil Can's been fairly fortunate so far not to have more runs scored. This isn't a bad pitch. It's tailing away from Kirk, but he pulls it in the hole with a man on first, and you saw Alan Trammell wait for the ball to get by. Good running by Alan Trammell. He knows right field is big, and Dwight Evans has to play deep, and even though he had to wait for that ball to get past him, he still has time to go to third base. Good, smart running by Alan Trammell. That's knowing where the fielders are before the ball's hit, and that's all it takes. Just take a look around. You got nothing else to do. Find out where everybody's playing. That way, when the ball's hit, you don't have to look. You know.
That was Sammy Stewart, who has just started to throw in the Boston bullpen. John Grubb doubled home run in the first inning. He's up there now with runners at first and third and one out in inning number 3. The Tigers leading 2-1.
This is usually a situation Johnny Grubb does very well in. He doesn't try to pull the ball in this situation, and he makes sure he gets a good pitch with a runner at third and less than 2 outs. Fly ball time, and Johnny's pretty good at this.
Fastball cut the inside corner. John thought it might have been a little too far inside. It's 1-1.
And I think one of the easiest ways to have success in this situation is until you get 2 strikes, give them that inside pitch if they can get it in there, because that's what they want to do. Pop you up or get you to hit it on the ground. Look for something from the middle out and hit it straight away. There's another little trick that works. It always worked for me too, and I tried. If you try to hit the pitcher with a line drive, hit it right at him with a line drive, you'll hit fly balls all day long to center field.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, and he drives it through again for a base hit. And the Tigers' lead now goes to 3-1 as John Grubb is 2 for 2 with a couple of RBIs. 3 consecutive hits here in the third inning, and the Tigers add another to their total. It's the 8th hit off Boyd, and Bill Fisher, the pitching coach, is coming out for Boston as Stewart continues to throw in the bullpen.
We were talking about taking the middle of the plate, hitting it, and that ball's on the outside corner. Johnny Grubb hits it straight away, line drive, right back into center field. That's the weakest part of the defense in that situation. Scores Allen easily. Hit too hard for Kirk to get over to third base. I doubt if he'll steal it in Boston because you can score a lot of runs here. You don't run too much, but Kirk has the kind of speed he can steal third just as easily as second. It's really not in Sparky's game plan, although he'll surprise you sometimes. We've seen him steal in Detroit, steal third, double steal.
Darrell Evans is the batter. Run in and one out. Runners at first and second. Detroit leads it 3-1. That's low for a ball to Evans. Evans grounded out in his first at-bat. That was in the opening inning when the Tigers scored their first 2 runs. It's outside for a ball, 2-0 to Darrell. Boyd is getting dangerously close to working on his last hitter this afternoon.
He better get Darrell out. or it's going to be more than dangerous. The hook's going to get him.
That's 2-1 to Evans. He escaped in the second inning. The Tigers had back-to-back hits from Collins and Lemon to get the inning started. But Collins was gunned down by Gedman on a good throw, and Dave was attempting to steal, and then Chester tried to stretch a single to a double, and Rice cut him down at second base. Gibby doing a little dancing around out there at second base, trying to distract Boyd. Here's the 2-1 pitch swung on. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Evans.
That's that screwball that acts a little bit like a changeup. It's fooled Darrell Evans. He's been out in front of it twice. Boyd has made some good pitches the last couple innings, but the Tigers have treated him rather rough. They've hit the ball well on some good pitches. Early in the first inning, he grooved a few, and they hit line shots then too. So might be one of those days for the can.
That's pulled foul over by the Boston dugout and pops in. It stays at 2 balls, 2 strikes to Evans. Gibson at second, and John Grubb is at first with 1 out. And the 2-2 pitch, ball 3. Darnell Coles in the on-deck circle. He'll bat next. Here's the 3-2 pitch. They're running, and it's hit high toward right center. They'll have to retreat as Armas is over. He makes the catch, and everybody goes back. So there are 2 out. Anderson turned him loose, but Evans' fly ball was to relatively easy range for Tony Armas in right center, and there are 2 gone with Darnell Coles coming up.
Darrell Evans has a good eye. He'll strike out occasionally, but that was a calculated gamble on Sparky's part. Gibson has good speed. Well, Ken made a good pitch right there. He'd been staying away with change-ups, a little screwball, and trying to cut his fastball in that outside corner. He came inside and jammed Darrell a little bit.
Tigers with 8 hits, only 1 has been for extra bases. John Grubb had a double in the first inning. Now Darnell Coles is up there. Both are running. Here's the throw towards second, and he's out. Tigers trying the double steal, and John Grubb is gunned down. And that closes out the Tigers' bid for more in the third. They score a run on 3 hits. There were no errors, and 1 man was left. We go to the bottom of the third inning. It's Detroit 3 and Boston 1. Here's another look at the inning-ending play.
And it's a very alert play by Gedman. Rather than try to cut down the very fast Kirk Gibson at third base, Gedman goes to second base. He didn't even hesitate. Makes a perfect throw. Johnny Grubb, of course, not nearly as fast as Kirk Gibson, and he's out easily. I don't know about running in Boston with 2 outs and a right-hand hitter up. I mean, you can score a lot of runs. It doesn't take too much. The wind is blowing out a little today. Hit one up off that wall or hit one in the screen. Great play by Gedman. Unfortunately, he takes Detroit out of the inning. You don't normally have teams running in Beantown here at Fenway Park. It's just that 30-foot wall scares a lot of pitchers, and you don't have to hit it too hard to get it up there.
Well, the Tigers limited to just 1 run in the third. They have a 3-1 lead going to the bottom of the inning. Ed Romero, who smacked his annual home run last night, will lead it off in the third. He'll be followed by Wade Boggs and Marty Barrett. Romero had 3 RBIs last night. The pitch from Jack Morris outside. He's given up 2 hits, a 1-out homer to Evans in the second inning, and then Armas followed with a 2-out double but was stranded at second base. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Jackson, and it's popped foul. This will be out of play along the first base line. Evans over for a look, but it's quite a ways back. These teams conclude this series tomorrow afternoon. Eric King, after missing his last start, will oppose Bruce Hurst. Eric is 8-2. Hurst is 7-6. Tigers will then head home and will open a series with the California Angels on Tuesday night. This is hit foul, out of play. That'll be a twilight night doubleheader on Tuesday evening against the Angels, opening a 4-game series. And we'll have the conclusion of game 1 and the second game in its entirety here on Pro-Am Sports beginning at 7:30 on Tuesday night.
You think she's worried about striking out or popping up?
I don't think so.
Looking for her next hot dog, but she's looking to get that pacifier out there and get me a hot dog, Mom.
High for a ball, 2-2 to Ed Romero.
If you're only going to hit one home run, you might as well make it count. And Ed Romero did last night, a big blow in the game. Unfortunate for the Tigers, but I'm sure the Red Sox were happy. Didn't hit a home run all last year.
He drives this toward right center. Gibson cuts it off. Romero makes the turn and will hold. Ed Romero with a leadoff single in the third inning.
Ball is hit very, very hard. It's up in the strike zone. Fastball down the middle, and Romero just drives it into right center. Kirk Gibson got a good jump on this ball and got over here, and you see him catch this ball, turn and make a good throw. He saved a double, held Romero to a single. Romero had ideas, as you can see, of going. Kurt made a good job of getting over there and getting in front of that ball and cutting it off. That's a big play for a pitcher. I'll tell you, you can't beat defensive plays like that. And they have a man in double play situation rather than the guy at second. Wade Boggs pulled the ball. He goes to third. Fly ball, scores the run that easily. And now they've got to hit him around there.
Boggs lined to Davy Collins on the warning track in left field in the first inning. He's 0 for 1 today. The pitch from Morris took something off and got it over. 1 ball, 1 strike to Boggs. In the last 16 games, Boggs has hit .407. In the last 10 games, he's batted .474. Ooh. Evans thought he had him. He took his foot off the bag, says Darrell. Drew Coble says no.
Drew made the call just a little bit quick. I think Darrell Evans might be correct. And Drew made the call so quick because he expected him to get back. He should really dive, and he doesn't get back very quick.
He's out. His foot was still above the bag.
Yeah, I think Darrell Evans is correct. I think Drew Coble just presupposed that he was going to make it back.
Good save by Lowry. They appeal to third base umpire. Denkinger goes up with the right hand and then upsets the Bostonians. So
you're not
everybody's
going to keep these fans happy, that's for sure, when you make a call against the Bostons.
Count is 1-2 to Boggs.
Boggs didn't complain too much, so
doesn't make any difference to him if it's 0-1 or 0-2 or 2-2 or 3-2. He's still going to go up there and hit.
This guy could hit in a snowstorm midnight with no lights on in the ballpark.
That might be a pretty good challenge even for Boggs.
I used to tell Joe Niekro I could hit him that way. He challenged me to do it, but he was never around in the wintertime when it was snowing.
I was back in Florida way in Auburndale. Ball and 2 strikes to Boggs. Runner at first base, nobody out. We're playing in the bottom of the third. Tigers lead 3-1. Right back. Oh, a double play ball. Morris just stuck the glove down, and there it was, a line smash. Romero had headed for second and was an easy double play man.
This is the second rocket that Wade Boggs has hit, and I don't know how Jack caught it out of self-defense. His glove is there, and it happened to go in it. And surprised Jack, I think, as much as anyone else. And you really can't fault Ed Romero. That ball looked like it was going to go through. It's not a good play, but it can happen. It happened so quick, and the ball was hit so hard.
Marty Barrett will bat with 2 out. He takes a strike on the outside corner. Barrett grounded out in his first trip. He's 0 for 1 this afternoon. Barrett's has strung a few games together now. He has hit .333 in the last 10 games. He's part of the group that has come together with the bats to help the Red Sox cause after that slump they had.
He's been very impressive. He's a good little fielder and a good hard-nosed player. I really like him. He's underrated. As when you bandy about names for second baseman, you don't hear Marty Barrett's name, and I don't know why. The kid looks very good to me. It isn't all that close. Marty makes a big show out of this. Oh yeah, I know, it's real close. Marty, get back in there. You want one close, one that takes the wax out of your ear. That's the one that's close, when the hat comes off and you go down. But it was a good show. I think he was worried it was closer than it was.
1-2. Fastball foul back on the press box facing down into the seats. And it stays the ball at 2 strikes. You know, you see reactions from various hitters when they're hit by a pitch. You'd never, or I should say seldom, I guess, see one from Baylor. He's been hit so many times he sort of anticipates it. He just goes to first base.
You have to check the ball to be sure it isn't hurt when it hits Baylor.
Barrett is a weak strikeout victim. The first strikeout of the afternoon for Jack Morris, and the Red Sox are gone. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. We've played a third of the ball game. It's Detroit 3 and Boston 1.
Tuesday, the veteran California Angels journey to Tiger Stadium to begin a 3-game series with Sparky's gang, all of which will be on pass. Reggie Jackson, enjoying a sensational season, is one of the main reasons California is contending this year. But he has a strong supporting cast led by rookie all-star Wally Joyner. The last time the Angels visited Tiger Stadium, long ball was in order, and California won 2 of 3 high-scoring games. Can the Tigers clip the Angels' wings this time around? The answer is only on pass.
Here we go. We're going to see Jack strike out Marty Barrett. Threw him one up and in, then threw him a fastball. Now this is a breaking pitch, a slider right on the outside part of the plate. Marty Barrett is way out in front, can't possibly reach it. Good pitch by Jack Morris. That up and in fastball does its number every once in a while. Yeah, especially the way Marty reacted. You might want to do that again.
Darnell Coles leads it off, takes the first pitch low, and a reminder again, the Tigers will be home on Tuesday night. We'll be televising beginning at 7:30 on Pro-Am Sports. We'll carry the conclusion of the first game and game 2 in its entirety as the Angels come to town. Gene Mauch and his club currently leading the American League West by 2.5 games over the Texas Rangers.
Can't say enough about Darnell Coles. He's been very solid at third base, and his batting average has stayed right at the 270, 280 mark, and he has 13 home runs and 55 RBIs, and he's done everything and more than the Tigers had hoped for. He's going to be a fine player. If he doesn't get hurt, there's no reason at all. This kid is just maybe one of the best third basemen around before it's all over.
2-1 pitch is fouled at the plate, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Darnell. Oil Can Boyd has been flirting with disaster all afternoon long. Tigers tagged him for a couple of runs on 3 hits in the first inning. Detroit had 2 hits in the second inning but couldn't score, and he gave up 3 consecutive hits in the third inning. The Tigers were limited to just 1 run. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Coles. He fouls it at the plate. Coles, Collins, and Lemon to face the Can here in the 4th. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Boyd, hit to the shortstop. Big hop for Romero, and he throws him out. There's 1 gone in the 4th inning. Now Dave Collins will be the batter. Dave had a single in the second inning, but was cut down by Gene Gedman attempting to steal second. Gedman is 2 for 2 in the throws, nailing attempted theft artists. He got John Grubb in the trailing half of a proposed double steal in the 3rd inning. Collins drops the bunt down. Boyd hustles over. Nice play, but it got away at the bag. Good play by Boyd. He had no other alternative than to field the ball with a glove and flip it over. The ball, Barrett, or Buckner, and Collins all arrived at the same time, and Davey is safe.
They're taking a look at it and talking to the umpire about Collins being inside the line. Davey makes a fine bunt here, and you're going to see an excellent play by Boyd. This is all he could do. Flip it. He got it up the line, and I guess Davey Collins is inside the line. You cannot run inside that line. You have to run on the outside of the line. If you're on the inside of the line and interfere, you're out. Davey just got back to the right-hand side. It was close. Excellent play by Boyd, but he just got the ball into the runner a little bit where Buckner couldn't get a hold of it.
Collins' second hit of the afternoon, and Chet Lemon, who singled in his first trip, is up there. Chester tried to stretch it into a two-bagger, but was gunned down on a perfect throw by Jim Rice. It's the 9th hit of the afternoon for the Detroit Tigers. Dwight Lowry in the on-deck circle. He'll follow Lemon to the plate here in the 4th inning. The pitch from Boyd is on the corner for a strike. Chester checking in with Alex Grammas, who runs through the sides down to third base and then steps back in.
Chet does a good job of looking the coach all the way through the signals. The worst thing you can do is, if you get a sign, look away right away. If they're alert, they'll know that that's the sign. They pick off the signs. You have to let the coach go through all of them so that you don't give it away.
There goes Collins. Pitch out. Gedman throws again. Got it. Gedman is 3 for 3. Looks like a track meet out there.
Davy Collins doesn't get a real good jump, not real bad, just average, but it's a pitch out, and Gedman's got a fine arm. Makes a good throw right there and a good quick tag. He just does get Davy Collins. We see it. That was a very good quick tag by Marty Barrett and an excellent throw.
2 are out. Lemon takes a strike on the outside corner, 1-2.
Tigers are aggressive. They've been running all over the place. It could cost them in the end. That's the third base runner they've had thrown out.
One ball, 2 strikes to Lemon. Called strike 3. Second strikeout for Oil Can, and the Tigers are gone in the 4th. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Still Detroit 3 and Boston 1.
The majors stay ablaze with action Friday night when the young Seattle Mariners head toward Tiger Turf to face Detroit. All the action begins at 7:30 on your summer source for sports, Pats.
3-1 Tigers lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th. It'll be Rice, Baylor, and Evans to face Jack Morris, who has allowed 3 hits. 2 of those came in the 2nd inning. Dwight Evans had a 1-out home run, and then Armas followed with a 2-out double. A leadoff single by Ed Romero, the only other safety off Morris so far today. Red Sox, following the conclusion of this series, hit the road. They'll play 3 games at Minnesota, 4 in Cleveland, and then 3 more in Texas before coming back here to take on the Cleveland Indians. So they've got some work in store for them after this brief homestand with the Tigers. Full schedule of Major League Baseball on this date. The games that the Tigers are primarily, Tiger fans are primarily interested in, are this afternoon. Baltimore playing in Cleveland, New York at Kansas City. Texas is playing at Toronto. But this, because of the early start at 1 o'clock here in Old Back Bay, will have some scores starting to arrive fairly soon on those other games. We'll pass them along to you. Jim Rice will lead it off in the 4th inning. This big crowd here at Fenway Park has been quiet for the most part this afternoon. Just one swing by Dwight Evans brought them to their feet, and that was it thus far. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Morris, changed up, and he drives it deep to left. It's going to be off the wall, fielded by Lemon. Here's the throw to second, and it's a long single. That's when the wall turns into your favor. In the other ballpark, that's an extra base hit.
That's an easy double in the other park because it's a line shot right in the alley, and it would have been an easy double. But here in Boston, comes off the wall, and Chet plays it properly. You don't go too close to the wall, let it come off the wall right back to you. That was a high changeup. Jack got it up too high, and you see the ball comes right back to Chet, and it's just a long single.
Don Baylor is the batter. He takes it low and away for ball one. It's the second time this afternoon the Red Sox have put their leadoff man on. Ed Romero had a leadoff single in the third, but Wade Boggs followed with a rocket right back to Jack. He picked it off and doubled up Romero. 2-0 the count to Baylor. He fooled him completely as he took something off that. Baylor way out in front. It's 2-1.
Excellent pitch by Jack Morris with good motion. You see him throw all that motion, and he just took a lot off it. Baylor's way out in front of it.
2-1 to Baylor with Rice at first and nobody out in the fourth inning. It's popped up on the infield in foul territory, now blowing up the line. Lowry grabs it, and there's one out in the fourth inning. Breeze has shifted a little bit now. It was blowing out toward right. It's blowing across in the right field foul pole to the left. And it is getting a little bit brighter. Perhaps the threat of showers will leave the area for a while. Dwight Evans gets a nice round of applause as he comes up. He supplied the Red Sox with their only run, his 17th homer in the second inning. Only 5 of his 17 home runs have come here at Fenway Park. Jack falls as he delivers. 1 ball, no strikes.
Jack sometimes gets that foot down too quick, I guess. I don't know why, but he has a tendency to stumble. He put his foot down sideways. Maybe that was why. You know, he does that every once in a while. It's a strange thing to happen, but it happens to him quite often.
It leaves him in a vulnerable position if a ball comes back quickly at the mound.
Might have it for lunch.
I'm telling you.
Normally, though, when that happens, the hitter doesn't watch the ball. He sees the pitcher fall down. He'll have a tendency to forget the ball and watch the pitcher. So you get away with it sometimes. You wonder what the heck's going on.
Morris has fallen behind 2-0 and delivers 3-0. Jack has struck out 1 batter. He has not walked anyone. He has allowed 4 hits today. Rene Latchman, the third base coach,
gave a very complicated sign. Just put 1 finger out and said, "Take one." That's the best way to do it.
Ball 4 will put the tying runs on with 1 out. First walk off Morris, and Bill Buckner comes up. Rice goes to second. Evans walks down to first base. With 1 out, Buckner will be up there. He is 0 for 1 today.
There's Sparky sitting there trying to figure out what he's going to do next, I guess. Walks are always bad in a ball game. You never want to walk people. The free ride, there's no defense for a walk, but in Fenway Park, they're devastating. They really jump up and bite you. Sparky was hiding behind the pole there.
This is pulled foul, out of play. 1 strike to Buckner. It was way out in front of that pitch. Pretty good catch made up there after it had been bobbled.
The people down below are happy. The people up above are getting a boo.
A lot of Tiger fans here today.
As they'd say in Boston, yeah, bomb.
Talk a little different, don't they?
Yeah, they come to the park and park the car. I love it. I've been called, yeah, bomb, Northrup, yeah, a bomb.
That probably doesn't sting as badly. So you're a bum.
Well, they say it so nicely.
Yeah.
What the heck? You take a little bow and say, yeah, you're right, I guess.
One strike to count to Buckner. 2 are on with 1 out. That's high for a ball. Tying runs are on with 1 out. Buckner's a good double play man. If he hits something on the ground at somebody, doesn't have that good speed anymore. This is hit foul out of play along the left field line.
He can barely run 3/4 with his heel and his knee bothering him as much as it does. He has to put an awful lot of effort in it to even generate 3/4 speed going down the line. So if he puts one on the ground, it'd be definite double play like opportunities.
Morris is ahead of him, 1-2. And he pops it up. Alan Trammell has called for it. Infield fly rule in effect. There are 2 out, and Tony Armas will bat. Rice stays at second. Evans is still at first base. 2 out, and Armas, who had a double in his first at bat, is up there for Boston. Armas says he's having trouble picking up the ball when it leaves the pitcher's hand. He said, I can't see the spin or the way it's going to break. And he said, if I get a good pitch to hit, 9 times out of 10, I foul it off. His first at bat today, he drilled it down the left field line just inside the fair territory.
I wonder if you ever thought of seeing an eye doctor.
Well,
if you can't see, you ought to have him checked anyway. Maybe he has.
It's a very good point. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Misses. They peel at first. Drew Coble says no. And it's 2-0.
Tony's a dangerous hitter. He has a lot of power. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark for you in a minute, and he swings at just about anything and everything sometimes. Does not get cheated.
Fouls this one back. It's 2-1. A little late on that swing on Morris' pitch. Rich Gedman in the on-deck circle. He'll bat next if Armas can get on. Swing and a miss. It's 2-2. Jack turned it loose. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and 2 are on in the bottom of the 4th inning with Detroit leading by 2. It's 3-1. A looper toward right field will drop in. Coming home is Jim Rice. Headed for third is Evans. He's being waved home. Here comes the throw. It's offline, and they tie the game. Tony Armas loops one down the right field line, scoring Rice and Evans. And the Red Sox have come back to tie the game at 3-3.
Jack has a little tough luck here. He makes a real good pitch on Tony Armas. The ball's down. He hits a little flare off the, you can see just a weak swing. Put the wood on it, and it's a flare down a right field line. It stays fair, goes down over the fence. Gibby's really going to have to get over there and hurry if he thinks he's going to throw out Evans, who can run. And he makes the throw. It's offline. doesn't have a chance to get Dwight Evans. We have a tie ball game.
And the lead run at third base with 2 out with Rich Gedman up there. Good save by Lowry as Morris delivered in the dirt. That's low and away. Two balls, no strikes, and they'll put him on and pitch to Romero. So Ed Romero, who did some major damage last night with a 3-run homer and has a single here this afternoon, will be the batter with runners at first and third. Red Sox scoring twice here in the 4th to tie the game at 3 runs each. And he drives it to center. Chet Lemon is there, and that's it for the Red Sox. Romero hit it hard, but right at Lemon. Red Sox score 2 on 2 hits. There were no errors, and 2 men were left. We'll go to the 5th inning. It's Detroit 3 and Boston 3. LOL Ken Boyd thus far has escaped the bullet and finds himself in a 3-3 ball game after it looked as though the Tigers were going to drive him out in a couple of innings. Some aggressive base running on the Tigers' part and some great throwing by Rich Gedman resulted in Tigers being wiped out on the base paths, and the Red Sox came back in the bottom of the 4th with a couple of runs of their own and have tied it at 3-3. We'll start the 5th with Dwight Lowry, Lou Whitaker, and Alan Trammell. Tigers have 9 hits in this ball game. They've scored 3. The Red Sox have 3 runs on 5 hits. Lowry took a called 3rd strike as the 3rd man up there in the 2nd inning. He bounces this one through for a base hit. Diving effort by Bill Buckner to no avail, and Detroit now has 10 hits off Boyd.
Dwight Lowry has just done a fantastic job of covering for Lance Parrish since he's hurt his back and hit around 330 the whole time. See, Dwight pulls that ball, hits it right in the hole. It's kind of a seeing-eye ground ball, but they all count. Buckner tried to make a diving play. Tigers have something going for him in the 5th inning.
Lowry at first base and Lou Whitaker the batter. Speaking of injured Tigers, Dan Petrie. We're talking with Sparky Anderson in his office before the game today, and he said Dan was scheduled to work out in Lakeland this morning, come back to Detroit this afternoon, work out at Tiger Stadium tomorrow and Monday, and return to the rotation. He'll pitch the first game on Tuesday night against the California Angels. Lou is 1 for 2 this afternoon, and he drives it up the alley toward right center field. This will be 1-2 hopper off the wall. Lowry is being stopped at 3rd, and Whitaker's in with a double. It's the Tigers' 11th hit of the afternoon, but just the 2nd for extra bases. And Whitaker continues to swing a very good bat for the Tigers. He's 2 for 3 today after 2 for 5 last night.
Here we see the pitch. It's on the outside part of the plate, a little bit up. Lou Whitaker just stays right on it. Watch his head. Stay right on that bat. Lines it deep to right center. And of course they're going to come out and stall again, get the bullpen hot. Boyd has just been so darn fortunate to have given up 11 runs and only 3 hits. I mean 11 hits and only 3 runs so far this afternoon. A lot of base running, a couple of mistakes, and some great throwing by Gedman.
I believe that's Sammy Stewart out there that's throwing, and he'll come on to relieve Boyd. He's really banged around here this afternoon. 11 hits, 9 of them were singles, 2 were doubles. So Boyd leaves the game, and I believe that's Sammy Stewart, yes, coming in.
Sure looks like him.
Boyd working 4 innings, facing 2 men here in the 5th inning. Thus far charged with 3 runs on 11 hits, struck out 2, and did not walk anyone. Whitaker's 2-bagger here in the 5th inning, his 22nd double of the season for Detroit. Tigers scored 2 in the first on 3 hits. They had 2 hits in the second, failed to score. They had a run on 3 consecutive hits in the 3rd inning. Had a base hit in the 4th, did not score, and here in the 5th they put their first 2 men in scoring position, and it'll be Sam Stewart to come on in relief. It's a long walk, and Stewart is just arriving at the infield now from the bullpen, which is located beyond the right field wall here in Fenway Park. Sparky Anderson looking on from the 3rd base dugout, visitors dugout along the 3rd baseline here in Fenway. So John McNamara has made the change after seeing all that he wanted to see this afternoon, and Boyd leaves with the game tied at 3-3, but leaves 2 men in scoring position.
Sammy Stewart is 3-1 with a 3.06 earned run average. 16th game he'll be in, 35 1/3 innings. He's given up 31 hits, 13 runs, 12 of them earned, 2 home runs, 23 walks, 31 strikeouts. Sammy has excellent velocity on a sinking fastball, throws a curveball and a slider. Been in a relief appearance before. Looks like they're going to use him in middle of relief. He was short relief at one time and had a lot of success with it. But they have Stanley here in the bullpen and Sambito, and Sambito has been doing an excellent job. And then they have a Schiraldi, who has been throwing very, very well. He was the #1 pitcher ahead of Clemens, if you can believe that, in college. So they have those 2 fellas out there, and so Sammy Stewart has been put into the long relief spot. Has good stuff on the ball, sometimes has trouble getting it where he wants it.
Their bullpen ranks 3rd in the American League in saves behind New York and Baltimore, and the pitching staff as a whole for the Red Sox is 2nd in the American League in earned run average behind Milwaukee. Sammy has his work cut out for him here. He'll face Alan Trammell with runners at 2nd and 3rd and nobody out in the 5th inning. Stewart last worked on Thursday night at Kansas City when an inning and 2/3 allowed a couple of hits, no runs, walked 2, struck out 2. He delivers low to Trammell to start him off here in the 5th. Checks his swing but taps it foul over by the Boston dugout. They're halfway in on the right side of the infield and normal depth on the left side here in the 5th inning. Lowry is at 3rd base. Lou Whitaker out at 2nd. Trammell with a chance to put the Tigers back on top here in the 5th inning. That's low. Nice save by Gedman. 2-1. Stewart spending his entire career before this season with the Baltimore Orioles, working basically out of the bullpen, although he did get some starts for the Orioles. There's a ground ball through his legs and on into center field. Whitaker's being waved home, and he will score easily, and the Tigers are back on top 5-3. Alan Trammell's 2nd hit of the afternoon went right up the middle between Stewart's legs, picks up 2 more RBIs.
Here we're going to see it. Allen does a good job of here, staying right on it. Ball hits it hard right between the wickets. Scores 2 runs, puts the Tigers back ahead in the ball game. Man at first and no one out.
And Kirk Gibson will bat as the Tigers now lead 5-3. It's Detroit's 12th hit of the afternoon. Gibby squared the bunt but took it inside. The line is complete on Boyd now. 4 innings worked, 5 runs allowed. Gave up 11 hits, struck out 2, and didn't walk anyone. Gibson is 2 for 2 today. He had a run-scoring single in the first. Ground ball hit sharply through Buckner. Trammell will go to third. Gibby is headed for second. Throw from Evans, not in time, and the Tigers have them at second and third with nobody out. Gibby hit a rocket. Looked like it might be a double play ball, but Buckner let it get through. And Trammell
Buckner
goes
not
all
too
the way to
happy with
third.
himself. There isn't any doubt about it that was an easy double play. Ball was hit hard, but a play Buckner can make in his sleep. Here we're going to see it again. Gibby does hit it hard, but it's a two-hopper right to Buckner. Takes his eye off the ball, picks the glove up. See, he came up throwing before he caught it. Even the good ones, and Buckner is a good fielder, can miss him. Helps the Tigers. It puts Boston in a real tough situation. That was a very costly error.
First error of the ball game. Trammell going to third. Gibson taking advantage of it, going to second base, and John Grubb, who is 2 for 2, is the batter, and he fouls it back. Grubb doubled home run in the first, singled home run in the third. You are going to have an interesting choice on the J.C. Penney Tiger Player of the Game today. It looks like we're going to have a lot of candidates. It's inside, and again, Gedman makes a good stop. 1-1.
Yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players with 2 hits. Trammell has 2 RBIs. Johnny Grubb has 2 RBIs. He could get 1 or 2 more right here. But some of them may eliminate themselves as we go along, and some of them might get better.
That's inside with a fastball. 2-1 to Grubb. Darrell Evans in the on-deck circle, swinging a pair of bats. He'll come up next. Tigers have scored 2. There are runners at second and third with still nobody out. 2-1 pitch from Stewart. 3-1. Pitch to Grubb, ball 4. John draws the base on balls to load him up. It's the first walk off Boston pitching this afternoon.
Going to be a long day, John, if they don't get him out pretty soon.
John used to be sort of a fun-loving, smiling type, but he is a little bit tense. These late stages, I guess that's what a pennant race will do to a man.
And when you're in first place, everybody wants to nail your hide, talk to you. The pressure's on. When you're in last place, it's easy.
Yeah, but nobody wants to talk to you.
Nobody wants to talk to you, and they don't care. John's been there before, too.
Yeah.
I think he'd rather be right here where he is.
Undoubtedly. Bases loaded for Darrell Evans. And the pitch from Stewart in for a strike. Evans looking for his first hit of the afternoon. He's 0 for 2. The only Tigers that have not hit safely are Evans and Coles, and they bat back-to-back in the order. That's in for a strike. Stewart working low and inside against Evans. Tim Lawler throwing now in the bullpen.
I don't think Sammy wanted to pitch to Grubb. He had an open base. Now he's got to force at any base. And he's made 2 excellent pitches to Darrell.
The 0-2 pitch, swung on and foul back. Got him in on the hands. Kansas City and New York have completed an inning in KC. It's scoreless. And Toronto scored 4 times in the opening inning against the Rangers at Exhibition Stadium. Here in Baltimore, it's in Boston, it's 5-3. Tigers leading Boston. There's a liner to left for a base hit. Good piece of hitting by Evans, scores a run. The bases remain loaded. He just reached out and tapped it to left, getting Trammell home. Gibson goes to third. Grubb advances to second. And Evans picks up his 63rd RBI as the Tigers go in front 6-3.
Here we see the pitch. Sammy Stewart shaking his head, but he just got it up in the strike zone, and Darrell Evans protecting the plate just hit a little liner into left field. Jim Rice almost misplays this ball. Gets a hold of it. Tigers don't want to take any chances with no one out. Keep the bases loaded.
It's now 6-3, and everybody in the hit column now except Darnell Coles, who will try to rectify that right here. He is 0 for 2. Bases loaded, nobody out. Tigers have put 3 on the board here in the 5th after Boston came back to tie it at 3-3 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Tigers now with 13 hits. Gibson at third, Grubb at second, and Darrell Evans the runner at first. The 0-1 pitch. Fly ball to deep left field. Rice is going back. He's at the wall, makes the catch. Gibson tags. He'll score easily. That'll make it 7-3. A sacrifice fly by Darnell Coles, the first out of this 5th inning.
Good job here by Darnell Coles. That's what you need, is a fly ball in this situation. You got the ball up in the strike zone, and Darnell hits a long fly ball. Isn't hit that deep, but you can see how close it comes to getting up on that green monster. Rice just has enough room. Gibson scores easily.
Now there's 1 out and runners at second and third. Grubb and second and first. Grubb and Evans, and Collins loops one, picked off nicely, quick throw, and Grubb dives back safely. Romero makes a nice play retreating on the little looper hit by David Collins. And there are 2 out. Grubb alertly diving back into second base.
Here we see it. It's a good pitch for Davey to hit, but he doesn't get much of it. And Romero makes a good play, gets back there. Good alert base running here by Johnny Grubb to avoid being doubled off. That's what you don't want to happen, and Johnny did a good job.
There are 2 out now with runners at first and second, and Chet Lemon will be the 9th Tiger to bat here in the 5th inning. Strike on the outside corner. Chet is 1 for 2 today. He had a single in the second and took a called third strike in the 4th inning. The pitch from Stewart is fouled back. 2 strikes to Chet. Dwight Lowry, who started the inning with a single, is in the on-deck circle. He'll bat next if Chet can keep it going. The 0-2 pitch way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tigers have scored 4 runs on 4 hits. There was an error and a walk tossed in. The error, a big one, on what could have been a double play ball. Now it's 2-2 to Lemon. Quick throw to first, and he gets back safely. It's a full count to Lemon. The runners will be moving now with Grubb at second base, Evans at first. 2 out. And the 3-2 pitch. Ground ball, slowly hit towards second. Barrett has it, throw to first, and that's it for Detroit in the 5th.
She says she'll be 61 years young, has been a fan of the Detroit Tigers for 50 years, and a very big Pass fan. So happy birthday, Eleanor. From Greenbush. Her birthday's on the 14th, but we didn't broadcast on the 14th, so we're a couple of days late. But
better late than never.
We got it in.
Wade Boggs is 0 for 2 today, which constitutes a hitting slump for this man. Marty Barrett and Jim Rice will follow against Jack Morris. He hit the ball deep to left field in the first inning, and he lined right back to Jack Morris, who picked it off and threw over to first base to double up Ed Romero in his last at bat. 1 strike to Boggs. Tigers with 7 runs, 13 hits. Boston 3 runs, 5 hits. Morris has struck out 1. He has walked 2 batters. Inside for a ball. 1-1. Barrett has a career high 29 doubles this season, which ties him for 5th best in that category in the American League circles. Tie for a ball, 2-1. Strike on the inside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Boggs. Strike 3 call. Boggs gets caught looking. 2nd strikeout of the afternoon for Jack Morris.
This doesn't happen very often. Boggs doesn't strike out swinging or taking very often, but that was a great pitch by Jack Morris. Sinking fastball right on the outside part of the plate. Normally Wade just takes that ball and slaps it into left field, but he thought it was outside. Good pitch by Jack Morris.
Marty Barrett is the batter. He takes it inside for a ball. Barrett is 0 for 2 today. Red Sox fell behind 2-0. Then they narrowed it to 2-1. This is hit foul. Tigers went in front 3-1. But the Red Sox scored 2 in the 4th to tie the game at 3 runs each. Tigers bounced back with 4 in the top of this inning, the 5th, and lead it 7-3. 1 ball, 1 strike to Marty Barrett. And a broken bat liner hit right at Trammell. There are 2 out. With 2 away, Jim Rice will come up for Boston. Jimmy's 1 for 2. He started the 4th inning rally for Boston with a leadoff single. He takes a strike on the outside corner. Rice cracked 46 home runs for this club in 1978. He had 406 total bases and a .600 slugging average. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Morris. That's low. 2-1. These teams wrap it up tomorrow afternoon. Bruce Hurst and Eric King are the opposing pitchers. That's a strike, and it's two out with nobody on. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Rice. Ground ball behind the bag. Cole's got a long throw, and he got him on a nice play by Darnell Coles. Rice doesn't have that great speed, but it was a brilliant play by Darnell Coles, and the side is out in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We'll go to the 6th. It's still 7-3 Detroit.
Players.
It's 7-3 Detroit leads as we start the 6th inning. Dennis Oil Can Boyd was the starter for Boston. He lasted 4 innings plus 2 men into the 5th. Sammy Stewart came on in relief, allowed 2 more runs after Boyd had given up 5 on 11 hits. Stewart in the 5th, 2 runs on 2 hits.
Here we see the ball hit down the third base line. Darnell Coles makes a fine backhand play, and then he sets himself, and he's got that rifle arm, fires it all the way across the diamond, gets Jim Rice easily. Great arm.
Dwight Evans led off the 5th inning with a single as the Tigers scored 4 times to break a 3-3 tie. Detroit sent 9 men up there in the 5th. Lowry again leads off the 6th. Starting to get a little sunshine here. It's not full blown by any chance or any stretch of the imagination, but it's much brighter than it was earlier today. We had rain showers through the early part of the morning. We're supposed to have had them throughout the day, but so far we've been in pretty good shape. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Lowry. Changed up. He lifts it down the left field line. Tough play for Rice, but he gets over and makes the catch. 1 out in the Detroit 6th inning, and Lou Whitaker will be the batter. Just brought some sunglasses out for Bill Buckner at first base. There may be a request elsewhere if that sun continues to burn through this overcast. Lou is 2 for 3 this afternoon. He has scored 2 runs. In the series, he is 4 for 8 with 2 doubles. Buckner now with the shades, then for a strike. Baltimore and Cleveland are underway. The Indians leading the Orioles 1-0. They're in the 1st inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Indians knocked off the Orioles 3-2 yesterday. 1-1 pitch to Lou is low. Orioles a half game in front of the Tigers in 3rd place, and Detroit a game in front of Toronto in 4th place. 2-1 pitch, and another drive to right for another base hit. Lou Whitaker is 3 for 4 today. His single this at bat comes with 1 out. It's the 3rd hit off Sam Stewart.
We're going to see the pitch. Lou Whitaker is really catching fire. He and Alan Trammell have hit very well. That pitch isn't all that bad. It's about knee high in the middle part of the plate. Lou just keeps his head right on the ball and whips it right around for a line drive of easy single.
Between Whitaker and Trammell, they have 5 of the Tiger hits. Detroit has 14 of them this afternoon. Trammell is 2 for 3. His base hit in the 5th inning scored 2 runs for Detroit. Of the 14 Detroit hits, only 2 have been for extra bases. Grubb has a double and Whitaker a double. The pitch from Stewart to Trammell is driven deep to left field, but Rice is there and he's got it. And there are 2 out of the 6th inning. It'll be Kirk Gibson to bat. Gibby's been on base all 3 at bats. He has 2 singles, an RBI, safe on an error, and he has scored twice. Pitch to Gibson is on the outside part of the plate for strike 1. Misses inside with a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Gibson. John Grubb in the on deck circle. He will bat next if Gibson can get on. Drive to right field. Dwight Evans is going back, flips the shades down, makes the catch, and that's it for Detroit in the ninth. For the Tigers, no runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 man left. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Still Detroit 7 and Boston 3. 7-3 Tigers lead. They have banged out 14 hits en route to this lead as we go to the 6th inning. It'll be Don Baylor, Dwight Evans, and Bill Buckner to face Jack Morris, who has allowed 3 runs on 5 hits. Jack has struck out 2 and walked 2. A home run by Dwight Evans and a 2-run triple by Tony Armas, scoring the runs for the Red Sox. They came back to tie it at 3-3, but Detroit immediately went out and got 4 more. There's a drive toward left field. Dave Collins coming in and makes the catch. Dave got a late jump on it, but came in and picked it off for out number 1 in the 6th.
Don Baylor had a big swing at this pitch and it looked like he hit it hard, but he didn't. He had a little flare out there, and Davey Collins had a real poor jump, but came back in and made the catch.
Dwight Evans, who homered in the 2nd inning, is the batter. He is 1 for 1. He drew a walk in the 4th. He scored 2 for the Red Sox. First pitch to him is outside for a ball. Two 2-0 the count to Evans. Well, we'll meet the West when the Tigers return home. They'll be playing 4 games with the California Angels, beginning with the doubleheader on Tuesday evening. That's popped foul. Will get out of play. Angels will be in for a night game on Wednesday, and also on Thursday night. We'll be televising each evening for you here on Pro-Am Sports. Then the Seattle Mariners come to town for the weekend. They'll play on Friday night, Saturday night. We'll televise both of those. And they'll also play on Sunday afternoon, and then the Oakland A's come in for a pair on Monday and Tuesday, the 25th and 6th. 3 balls and a strike to Dwight Evans. Be the last chance to see the Tigers until the 2nd week in September. They'll be heading west and play at California, Seattle, and Oakland before coming back with the Brewers on the 9th of September. 3-1 pitch is swung on. Threw it right past him, and it's 3-2. Here's the 3-2 delivery, and he walked in. 3rd walk-off Morris this afternoon. Evans draws it with 1 out, and Bill Buckner will bat.
Dwight's a tough hitter. He has a good idea of the strike zone. Doesn't swing at too many bad pitches. Gets quite a few walks. He's just a good all-around ball player.
Darrell Evans out with a quick word with Jack, and Bill Buckner will now bat. Buckner is 0 for 2 today.
Just wanted Jack to know, Darrell Evans, that he's going to play behind Dwight Evans, but don't give him away. Take a look every once in a while, because he might run. I would doubt it with 4 runs down in this ballpark, but you just never know if you don't pay any attention. You give him a running start.
One strike to Buckner. Drive to right field, well hit. Gibson racing over, can't get to it. A one-hopper off the wall goes in for ground rule double. So Dwight Evans will have to stop at third. Ground rule double for Buckner, and the Red Sox have 2 men in scoring position with 1 out.
Buckner hits this ball very, very well down the right field line and well over Kirk Gibson's head. We can see where it is. It's about 365, 370 right there. Hits and bounces into the stands. The Tigers get a break. If it stays in, Dwight Evans could score, and now we have men on second and third, 1 out. Yeah, tough luck. Ball bounced in the stand, cost him an RBI and a run.
Tony Armas is up there. He tripled home 2 runs the last at bat, and he'll single home 2 this time. That'll make it 7-5. Armas, who has been in a deep slump, has come alive this afternoon. A single, double, and triple, and 4 RBIs.
Tony Armas has a good situation here where he's got Jack in a hole. And you see him hit the ball right up the center, right up the middle. Scores 2 runs, keeps him on first base, so you still have the double play. And Red Sox are getting back in it.
They've cut the lead to 7-5, and Billy Muffet is coming out to the mound. There's action in the Tiger bullpen. Morris has allowed 5 runs on 7 hits. Willie Hernandez is throwing in the Tiger bullpen. A little early for Willie. This is the old scoreboard here at Fenway Park. They put them up by hand here. They have the electronic scoreboard high above the center field wall also, but this is from the old age. Pitch to Gedman is low for a ball. Red Sox have come to within 2 now. It's 7-5. They have Armas at first base with 2 runs in, 1 out, and Gedman takes a strike. One ball, 1 strike to Richie.
Base on ball has gotten Morris in trouble twice. In the 4th inning, he walked Evans and he scored. The 6th inning, he walks Evans and he scores.
Ground ball might be 2. There's 1 to Tram. The throwback, double play. So the Tigers turn it quickly and none too soon. They escape with just 2 runs being scored. There were 2 hits in the inning. No errors and none left. We're 2/3 of the way through. It's Detroit 7 and Boston 5. Seven to 5. The Tigers lead Boston as we start the 7th inning with John Grubb, Darrell Evans, and Darnell Cole. Sammy Stewart came on in relief of Dennis Boyd. Boyd charged with 5 runs, 11 hits through 4 innings. Stewart charged with 2 runs, 3 hits through 2 innings.
Sammy Stewart has really done a pretty good job. There was a double play ball hit to Buckner, went right through his legs. It cost Boston a couple of runs. Other than that, Sam's done a pretty good job of coming in here and stopping the Tigers.
Detroit with a total of 14 hits. John Grubb has 2 of them and 2 RBIs. He doubled home run in the first, singled home run in the third. In his last at bat, he drew a walk. This will be the second time that Grubb has faced Stewart. Takes the pitch low for a ball. That's in for a strike, 1-1. Yankees and Royals in the third inning at KC. They're scoreless. It's in for a strike, 1-2. Cleveland continues to lead Baltimore. They're in the second in Cleveland, 2-0. And Toronto has a 4-0 lead over Texas. They're in the third. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Grubb. Inside. 2-2 to John. Ground ball to the right side. Marty Barrett gets the big hop, and Grubb is retired for the first time this afternoon. With 1 out, Darrell Evans will come up. Evans singled home a run in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 3 today. He was 2 for 3 here last night with a home run and 2 RBIs. One ball, no strikes to Darrell. In for a strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Stewart, very high. That's a strike to the inside corner. It's 2-2 to Evans. Checking through the Boston record book today, Mr. Northrup. Would you have any guess who among all of the Red Sox pitchers over the years would have given up the most hits in a single season? It's 3-2 the count.
Given up the most hits in a season.
Yeah.
It would be a wild, I'll say Bill Lee. Be a wild guess.
Well, I expected a wild guess, to be honest with you.
Gene Conley. He didn't pitch enough, I don't think.
That's low ball 4. Sammy Stewart walks his second batter of the afternoon. The Tigers have a runner with 1 out. With Cy Young in 1902, he gave up 350 hits in a single season and won 32 ball games.
They started and finished them all. What'd they have? 2-man rotation, 3-man rotation, something like that. I don't know. But they pitched a lot of games, a lot of innings. He went out there and pitched and finished.
That's exactly right. It was the day before the bullpen. Darnell Coles is the batter, and he takes a strike. I was talking to Billy Muffet about that in the dugout before the game, and he started thinking about that. He said, You know, we think our training methods are so good, but those guys pitch so many innings. Maybe our methods aren't as good as we think there are, and theirs were better than we thought they were.
It could be. They didn't seem to suffer from it. Pitched a lot of innings, won a lot of ball games. Pitched a lot of years. Didn't seem to affect their careers.
1 ball, 1 strike, runner at first with 1 out. It's outside. Muffet had a question of his own that nobody could answer. He said he's sitting there thinking about all of these things. He said, who do you suppose was the first man that decided it was a good idea for pitchers to run?
To get in shape.
To get in shape. Nobody had an answer for that one.
If they ever find him, they'll probably hang him the rest of the pitchers.
Well, that was his question. Were those guys running? You know,
that's hard. No one, I don't think anyone knows. There isn't anybody around that would have remembered.
Bob Stanley in the bullpen for Boston as the count has gone to 3-1 on Coles. You have to talk to some old timers, I guess, to find out what their conditioning procedures were in those days. 3-1 pitch to Coles is swung on as a full count. Running now is a very big part of the conditioning process for pitchers' legs. All players, but particularly for pitchers. I haven't talked to one yet that liked it. I got a look at Gedman's sign for 3-2. There goes Evans. It swung on and foul tipped out of the mid of Gedman, and Evans will go back. Got another one for you.
Did you stay up all night last night figuring these out?
No, but this one you're going to be able to use. The most home runs allowed by a Boston pitcher in one season.
How many or who did it?
Well, you don't have to guess the total, but who did it? Here's the 3-2 pitch. Again, Evans running. Bouncing ball hit slowly. Picked up by Romero, and he throws out Coles for the second out. Evans moves on to second base. 2 gone, and Dave Collins will bat. Romero had to come a long way to make that play, and did. Earl Wilson was the man that has allowed the most home runs by a Boston pitcher in one season.
Boy, Earl could throw too. That's a surprising stat. Because when Earl was here with Boston, he still threw the ball up there pretty darn good. Pitched a no-hitter here, didn't he? I believe he did.
I know he had a no-hitter, and I believe it was here. Here comes John McNamara out. Earl gave up 37 home runs in 1964 while pitching with the Red Sox. That's why I say I know that you'll test Earl on that one. See him the next time.
He'll probably remember it all too well and chase me wherever I am. I don't know what they're thinking of here, unless they want to be careful with Collins, or they want to know whether Stewart wants to pitch to Collins or not and go take a chance on putting the tying run at first base and pitch to Lemon. That must be what McNamara wants to get straight. Oh, we're ahead. I got the wrong team in the wrong field.
Well,
yeah, you can't. Yeah, I'm still thinking about home runs and who's. That's right. Well, we have an open base. I guess McNamara wants to know what he wants to do. Do you want to pitch to Davy Collins, take a chance, or put him on there with an open base, pitch to Chet Lemon? I'd pitch to Lemon, but I'm not on the mound.
Well, we'll see what happens. Tigers lead at 7-5. There are 2 out with Evans at second base. Collins has 2 hits, including a bunt single, in 3 at-bats. Tigers with 7 runs, 14 hits. Red Sox 5 runs on 7. The 1-0 pitch from Stewart hit foul down the first base line. So it's 1-1 to Collins. Tigers have had no luck in gaining a lot of breathing room against these Red Sox. They've had a 3-run lead. They've had a 4-run lead, but the Red Sox keep coming back. There's a drive to right, but Evans is there and picks it off for the final out in the 7th. For the Tigers in the 7th, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man was left. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's still Detroit 7 and Boston 5. We'll be joining the first game in progress on Tuesday evening in the doubleheader featuring the Tigers and the California Angels, and then we'll have Game 2 in its entirety. We invite you to join us Tuesday night here on Pro-Am Sports. Ed Romero will lead it off for the Bostons in the 7th inning. He is 1 for 2. He had a single in the 3rd, line to center in the 4th inning. Well, this jam-packed crowd at Fenway Park with a round of applause, seeing if they can get their local hero started against Jack Morris. They scored a couple of runs in the 6th inning on a walk, double, and a 2-run single by Tony Armas, who has had quite an afternoon. Tony has a single, double, and triple and has driven home 4 runs. Romero has been kind of a thorn in the Tigers' side in these last 2 series. The one in Detroit and then here this weekend. He had a 3-run homer last night. He's 1 for 2 today. The ball that they finally got him out on in the 4th inning was hit hard, but right at Chet Lemon. The 2-0 pitch is in for a strike.
Somebody's getting him out. He's only hitting .218, but the Tigers have had a tough time with this fella.
He fouls this one back. Two balls, 2 strikes. And he got him on strikes. The 3rd strikeout for Jack Morris. He fans Romero to open the 7th, and Wade Boggs will come up.
Jack had thrown a fastball past him, and now he throws a split finger pitch. Doesn't break a whole lot, but enough to fool him, and he misses it completely.
Boggs is 0 for 3 today. Fouls this one back. Has hit the ball hard twice, but the last trip took a called 3rd strike, which is highly unusual.
He struck out 38 times is all.
And he singles the next at bat. The 8th hit off Jack Morris. The Boggs has his first hit of the afternoon.
Wade Boggs has hit the ball hard all afternoon, and this is, as we've said before, why he's such a good hitter. Ball's on the outside part of the plate, a fastball. Doesn't try to do anything fancy with it, just hit it hard, and he does, right up the middle for a base hit.
Marty Barrett comes to the plate, representing the tying run with 1 out in the 7th inning. He misses low and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Yankees leading Kansas City in the 4th at Royal Stadium 1-0. Cleveland leading Baltimore 2-0 in the 3rd. And it's Toronto 4, Texas 0 in the 4th. There are 3 games in the American League under the lights tonight. Milwaukee at Chicago. That's a ball. Minnesota at Seattle, and Oakland plays at California. 2-0 to Barrett, who has been held hitless so far by Jack Morris. He's 0 for 3. He pops it up. Lou Whitaker will make the catch on this one, and there are 2 out. and leave it up to Jim Rice. Well, 21 years ago at this stage, the Tigers were not looking at trying to get back into a pennant race. They were trying to snap a losing streak. And on this date in 1975, Ray Bear threw a 2-hit shutout to give the Tigers an 8-0 victory at Anaheim, snapping a 19-game Tiger losing streak. Pitch to Rice is low for a ball. And you were not even around to participate.
And I was very happy not to be here to participate. That was a rough year for the Tigers. I believe I was with Baltimore. 75, you said?
75.
Yeah. Baltimore Orioles, we were enjoying a little better season than that.
That was a long campaign. Look at the schedule and you just wonder where the next victory was going to come, or if the next victory was going to come. 1 ball, 1 strike to Rice with Boggs at first and 2 out in the 7th. Two and 1. Ground ball down the third baseline. Coles handles it, goes to first, and he got in. So the Red Sox are out in the 7th inning. For Boston, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left. We'll go to the 8th. It's still Detroit 7 and Boston 5. Chet Lemon, Dwight Lowry, and Lou Whitaker to face Sammy Stewart, who has held the Tigers off pretty well since coming on in relief of Dennis Boyd, who had no luck with the Tigers. Sam Bito is throwing in the bullpen. He appeared last night. He has been dynamite for the Red Sox out of the bullpen most of the season. Lemon is 1 for 3 this afternoon. Batting here, leading off the 8th with the Tigers leading at 7-5, and drives it toward right center, and Armas will have to play it on 1 hop. So Chet Lemon is 2 for 4 after going 2 for 4 last night. It's a 4th hit off Sammy Stewart.
Tony Armas didn't get a very good jump on this ball. Lemon doesn't hit it all that well either. It's in right center field, placed just right. Tony didn't get the best jump in the world, plays it safe on 1 hop. Tigers have run at first base, Dwight Lowry at home.
Lowry is 1 for 3. Tigers have a lot of multiple hitters. They have a total of 15 hits today. Whitaker has 3, Trammell has 2, Gibson 2, Grubb 2, Evans 1, Collins 2, Lemon 2. Lowry has 1, and Darnell Coles is the only man that does not have a hit, but he does have a sacrifice fly for Detroit. Boggs way in on the grass at third base as Lowry squares, gets it down the first baseline. A good bunt. And that will move Lemon on to second base as Lowry executes the sacrifice bunt perfectly. 1 out. Lemon is at second base, and Lou Whitaker is coming up. Lou is 3 for 4 this afternoon, 2 singles and a double.
Dwight put down a perfect bunt. Gets Lou Whitaker over to listen to me. Lou Whitaker's at the plate. Chet Lemon at second base. Get him in scoring position. The Tigers would like to get another run. You never have enough runs in this ballpark.
Lou's going to be intentionally walked, and they'll pitch to Trammell, who has been a tough out this afternoon also, but it would set up the double play possibility. The 3rd walk off Stewart, the first intentional pass. Trammell had a very big single in the 5th inning, driving home 2 runs. So Lou draws the intentional walk. Runners are now at first and second with 1 out, and Alan Trammell will bat. Trammell 2 for 4 today after a 2 for 5 night last night. The pitch from Sammy Stewart is low and away, ball 1 to Trammell. Stewart is into his 4th inning on the mound for Boston. One 0 pitch to Tram, low and away. 2 balls, no strikes.
Zambito still throwing in the bullpen. Whether he gets Allen out or not, he'll probably bring the left-hander in. Detroit has Gibson, Grubb, and Evans, all left-handers coming up in a row.
Gedman and Stewart having a little trouble getting together on what they want to do with Trammell, the 2-0 count. Zambito pitched here last night in the first game, won by Boston 8-5, working 1 inning and a third actually, and allowed a hit. He picked up his 11th save, saving it for Roger Clemens, who recorded his 18th victory. Two balls, no strikes to Alan Trammell. Chet Lemon is out at second base. He singled his way on, was sacrificed to second. Whitaker drew the intentional walk. And that's low and away. All 3 pitches have been just about the same spot. And it's 3-0 to Trammell. Ball 4, he walked him on 4 straight bad pitches, and that'll be it for Stewart as McNamara comes out. 4th walk-off Sammy. Loads the bases with Tigers. Now Stewart did a pretty good job. He came on in the 5th inning when the Tigers scored 4 times. Worked through the 6th without allowing a run, the 7th without allowing a run, but gets into a jam here in the 8th inning. Now we'll look ahead to our schedule coming up tomorrow here on Pro-Am Sports. It begins at 6 o'clock in the evening with Off to the Races. Then at 6:30, it's Inside NASCAR, followed at 7 o'clock by Outdoor Odyssey. At 7:30, it's the WWA's Bruiser Bedlam Wrestling. Big 2-hour show to be featured on Pro-Am Sports. And then 9:30, trackside at Ladbroke, DRC. You'll see it all here on Pro-Am Sports tomorrow evening. Well, Joe Zambito has been called upon to throw some water on the fire the Tigers are stoking here in the 8th. With 1 out, the Tigers have the bases loaded.
Zambito has done very well out of relief. He's 2-0 with a 3.86 earned run average. It'll be his 43rd appearance. Has 11 saves, 35 innings pitched, 41 hits, 17 runs, 15 of them earned, 3 home runs, 10 walks, 21 strikeouts. That was a hard sinking fastball, 3/4 slider, and a breaking ball, overhand breaking ball. Tough on left-handers. Tries to sink the ball away from right-handers and come down and in with a slider. Had to rebuild his arm. He had arm problems and they had constructive surgery. And he's one of the modern miracles, back pitching and doing a fine job.
He arrives in a tough spot. Bases loaded with the Tigers. Detroit leading at 7-5. Detroit 7 runs, 15 hits. Boston 5 runs, 8 hits. Chet Lemon started this inning with a single, was sacrificed to second by Lowry. Then Whitaker was given an intentional walk, and Trammell walked. That loads him up for Kirk Gibson, who is 2 for 4 today. Kirk singled home a run in the first. He has scored 2 runs. And he has flied to right field. He is also safe on an error. Wade Boggs even with a bag at third. Buckner even with a bag at first. Barrett and Romero in a few steps at second and short respectively. First pitch is fouled straight back. Lands on the roof of the broadcast area and skips on back toward the press room. 1 strike. Another foul coming straight back. So Sambito is ahead of Gibson, 0-2.
Gibby's a little disgusted with himself. He's had a couple of pretty good pitches to hit. Trying to get a base hit or at least hit a sacrifice fly. Give the Tigers a 3-run edge here. As we've said before, a lot of things can happen in this ballpark in a hurry. You never ever have enough runs.
All 2 to Gibson. That's outside for a ball. 1-2. Sambito has, in working against left-handed hitters, held them to an even 200 batting average this season. Here's the 1-2 pitch inside. 2-2 to Gibson.
The ball's inside. Kurt went into it just a little bit and it tailed back in on him. Good pitch by Sambito. Probably going to try and go back outside with a fastball or slider. We'll see if Gedman sets up outside. Not really, but I think he'll probably go out there.
2-2 pitch high.
Tried to throw the sidearm slider. Got it high. Didn't get it out there. He let it ball out the side of his hand. He didn't stay on top.
Bases loaded with Tigers. 1 out and a 3-2 count to Gibson. And the pitch from Sambito is hit foul. So we'll do it all over again. Sambito has a pretty good percentage. He has prevented 44 of the 52 inherited runners during the course of the season from scoring. Can't ask for a whole lot more than that.
Been a big surprise for Boston. Much needed surprise out of that bullpen. Made a lot of difference this year. Stanley hasn't quite done the job that he's done in the past, nor has Stewart in the short relief situation, but this young man has picked up the slack really well.
3-2 pitch, high ball 4. That'll force home a run. Chet Lemon comes home with Detroit's 8th run of the ball game. Bases remain loaded with Whitaker moving on to third base. Trammell going to second. Gibson is at first, and Larry Herndon will pinch hit for John Grubb. There is action in the bullpen for Boston. It's so far away, I'm not sure who that is. Might be Stanley.
It looks like his number. We're so far away. We're a $3,000 telescope away from seeing his number.
It's big enough to be Stanley.
It looks, yeah, he's a big guy, and it looks like 40 something.
6
and
maybe.
He's 46 is his number. But he's tall and big and right-handed, and that's, yep, that is, I think that's 46.
Bases are loaded. A run in. The infield is in as Larry Herndon comes up with 1 out. First pitch hit deep to left field. It's well hit. It is a grand slam. Larry Herndon on the first pitch delivered by Sambito smacks it into the net for a grand slam, and the Tigers will go in front 12-5. Larry Herndon in a pinch-hitting role comes through in grand style.
Larry's been struggling all season, and I'm sure this must feel awfully good to him. A lot of fans leaving now. It's a low fastball, and Larry Herndon is a good low fastball hitter, and he pounds it up into the net, up over the wall for a grand slam home run, puts the Tigers way ahead, 12-5.
Darrell Evans bats. Talking about those walks coming back to haunt you. There were 3 walks in this inning. Tigers have scored 5 times. All 3 of those who reached base as the result of base on balls have scored for Detroit here in the 8th. The home run by Herndon is the 16th hit of the afternoon for Detroit. Slow and away to Evans. He's 1 for 3, a single and an RBI. It looks somewhat like a fire drill here now. Everybody is really headed for the exit.
Yeah, they figure it's all over, and it's never over in this ballpark. You keep saying that. People, I'm sure the fans know it, but they're anxious to get out of here.
Darrell Evans with another base hit, his 2nd of the afternoon. 2nd off Sambito, and that will probably be the last off Sambito as McNamara comes from the dugout. And we'll probably see Bob Stanley. Of all of the hits the Tigers have this afternoon, there have been 17 of them. They have just 3 extra base hits, 2 doubles, and then the grand slam by Larry Herndon. So Sambito, after being cheered wildly for his performance here last night in a relief role, gets a little bit of the old Bronx cheer as he heads for the dugout this afternoon. The 4th man to work for the Boston Red Sox will be Bob Stanley. Dennis Boyd started, Sammy Stewart, Joe Sambito, and now the Stanley Steamer will come on. Still only 1 out in the Tigers' 8th inning. They have scored 5 times, and they have a runner at first base. On Tuesday evening here on Pro-Am Sports, we started all off at 7 o'clock with Off to the Races. Then at 7:30 we'll join the first game of the California-Detroit doubleheader in progress and carry the 2nd game in its entirety. On Wednesday evening we start at 7 with Off to the Races, the 3rd game of the California-Detroit series at 7:30 live from Tiger Stadium. Then on Thursday night, same format, 7 o'clock Off to the Races. 7:30 the final game of the Angels and the Tigers collide at the corner of Michigan and Trumbull. You'll see it all here on Pro-Am Sports.
Bob Stanley's 5-4, 4.91 earned run average. This will be his 48th appearance. He has 14 saves. He's pitched 62 in the 3rd innings, given up 77 hits, 42 runs, 34 of them earned, 8 home runs, 18 walks, and 38 strikeouts. Basically a sinker ball pitcher, throws sinker slider. Relies mostly on the sinker. He's had some real fine years. He was on the disabled list, had arm problems, has come back from them and not done well this year. Sambito came in here and got nobody out. Instead of putting water on the fire, he put a little alcohol, a little kerosene, gasoline. Put it almost out of reach. You would think so. 12-5. I like to see 8. That means 2 grand slams will only tie.
Darnell Coles hits the first pitch, foul, and will drop into the seats. Toronto is having a big day also at Exhibition Stadium. It's 10-0, leading the Texas Rangers in the 5th inning.
May have to call mercy rule there.
10-run rule does not apply.
Does not
Major
apply.
League Baseball.
Take your medicine. Keep throwing it up. The only Tiger hitter without a hit. Took care of that, didn't he?
Right on cue.
So much for jinx.
Yeah. So everybody has hit safely at least once for the Tigers, who now have 18 hits. I believe the high water mark was 20 against the Cleveland Indians in the 15-1 victory over Cleveland at Detroit.
It's only a couple weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah, they had 20 hits in the 51 victory over the Indians on the 7th of August. The most accumulated in one game this year. They have 18 and still swinging here in this afternoon's game. Collins rips it through for a base hit. Evans will stop at third. And whoa! Coles kept on going. They're going to have 2 men at third base. Coles was not looking, and he kept on chugging. Evans had stopped at the request of Alex Grammas, so the Red Sox pick up an easy out.
Dave Collins rips a single up the middle. And I know what Darnell is thinking. In a big ball game like this, you might as well take a chance and go ahead and let him score, but they do hold the runner. Darrell Evans is not the swiftest runner there is, and Darnell never even looked, just kept right on going around, realizes his mistake. If you're going to make this kind of mistake, this is a good game to do it when you have a 7-run lead.
The appearance of Chet Lemon marks the 10th batter to hit here in the 8th inning for Detroit. The Tigers sent 9 men up there in the 5th inning. They have 19 hits today, and Lemon has a chance to get 2 hits in 1 inning. He started it off with a single to center. Runners at first and third now with 2 out. 2-1 to Chester. 12-5, Detroit leads.
So far, Bob Stanley's faced 2 hitters, and you can see why he's having not a very good season. His ball's not sinking like it used to. That's a little better, but he used to have a sinker that would drop 6 to 10 inches. Really a big sinker. Had him beating it in the dirt, and a lot of the pitches he throws now are up in the strike zone and don't sink.
It's a full count to Lemon. Well, last night it was Boston having the big inning. Today it's the Tigers with a pair of big innings. 4 in the 5th, 5 here in the 8th. At strike 3 called. And that concludes the 8th inning. Tigers score 5 on 5 hits. There were no errors and 2 men were left. We have played 7.5. It is Detroit 12 and Boston 5. Bottom of the 8th inning at Fenway Park. Jack Morris has a big pad to work with now. 7 runs as the Tigers put 5 up in the top of the 8th. The lead at 12-5. It'll be Don Baylor, Dwight Evans, and Bill Buckner to face him in the 8th inning.
Fans here finally found something they could cheer about. They were trying to guess the attendance, and they were cheering when they put up the wrong and finally put up the right. A good number of them probably had guessed one way or the other, but little consolation, but they were cheering the attendance.
Everybody's got to cheer something at some given time. And it was a big total, 34,806 on hand for today's game. Baylor hits it a mile. His 22nd home run. second home run off Morris this afternoon. Baylor jumpering on the first pitch, and will make it 12-6. The 9th Boston hit off Morris.
That's commonly referred as a cripple hit, cripple home run. You still have to do it, but Jack just throws strikes when you have a 7-run lead. That's all you do, and Baylor is looking for a fastball, gets it, and he lofts it up into the screen. Number 22 for Donnie Baylor. I told you I like to see 8 or 9. 8, two grand slams tie it. 9, they won't tie it. Then you can breathe a sigh of relief.
You'll get no argument from this corner.
It's exciting. I bet Morris thinks it's real exciting.
I bet he does.
Tough to pitch in this ballpark. It really is. Tiger Stadium's no picnic, but this is tougher.
Dwight Evans is the batter. He homered in the second inning. He has drawn a couple of walks. He has scored 3 times. Willie Hernandez again throwing in the Tiger bullpen. And here comes Sparky. And that may be it for Jack.
Don't trip on that line, Spark.
You ever ask Sparky why he does that?
Superstitious. He won't step on that line.
That's not a good enough reason.
Oh,
No, I don't mean that. I mean he'll stop and take a look back to make sure that he hasn't stepped on a line.
Well, I guess just doubling up. I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to trip over it. You ask him. I don't know.
I'm going to. I keep forgetting every time I see him.
I think he's a little shy going out there. He's trying to sneak over that line so that nobody sees him. Then he gets over to the
ground.
Yeah.
He'll scarf up the dirt a little bit. Tom Leppard will come out and say, Sparky, what are you going to do? And Sparky said, oh, I don't know.
And he's giving Willie a little more time to throw some pitches. That's all he's doing.
Well, Jack Morris leaves the game. Not one of his strongest performances, but he leaves with a 6-run lead. Working 7 innings, allowing 9 hits, 6 runs, struck out 3 and walked 3. So Willie will make the long stroll, 380 some feet from home plate, carrying his jacket along. And
remember the days when they used to run?
They don't do that anymore, do they?
They used to have a little golf cart here.
Yeah.
They'd bring you in, and it's a taxi cab ride out there, but they used to jog you, and I like that. Speed things up a little bit. Willie's not in much of a hurry.
Well, everybody will be waiting for him when he gets there, so I guess there's no rush. Score won't change en route. He won't be out of breath. Might rain before he gets there. Now the Tigers have banged out 19 hits this afternoon off 4 Boston pitchers. Oil Can Boyd started. Willie arrives at the scene. He went 4 innings. The Tigers touched him for 5 runs, 11 hits. Sammy Stewart came on, did a decent job, but then the Tigers got to him as his efforts wore on. He worked 3 1/3, allowed 5 runs on 4 hits. Joe Sambito came on board. He didn't get anybody out, allowed 2 runs, 2 hits. And Bob Stanley then showed up and allowed 2 hits before finally getting the Tigers out in the 8th inning. So Willie Hernandez will be the first change the Tigers have made in the pitching. Jack going the first 7.
Willie 7-5 with a 3.42 earned run average. It'll be his 53rd appearance. Willie has 20 saves. He's pitched 73 2/3 innings. He's given up 76 hits, 28 runs, all of them earned, 12 home runs, 17 walks, and 63 strikeouts. Fastball, curveball, slider, but the big pitch is the screwball from Willie Hernandez. Tries to set up the hitters by pitching high and tight and then turn the ball over on the screwball and throw it to fool the hitters. Got a tough customer up there now, Dwight Evans. He's hit a home run, walked twice, scored 3 runs.
Willie's last outing came against Chicago on Wednesday night. He worked 2/3 of an inning, allowed 1 hit, He faces Dwight Evans with a run in, nobody on, and nobody out. And Evans fouls the first pitch back. A 1-1 delivery misses, and it's 2 balls and a strike. He pops it up. Alan Trammell going back to the outfield grass has been called off now. Out. Collins caught it. A little bad piece of communication between Collins and Lemon, but Davey hung on for the first out.
You can see Trammell bail out as he hears somebody call for it, and it was probably Collins. I don't know if Chet called for it, but if he's going to, he's got to be a lot louder so that they don't have a collision. You can see Davey standing there ready to catch it, and Chet really should give ground. He was still on the move, but Chet tries to catch everything he can get to. That's what you're supposed to do as a center fielder, but you got to let people know. Loud and clear.
Bill Buckner is the batter with 1 out in the 8th inning. He has a double in 3 at-bats, takes a strike from Willie. A grand slam pinch hit home run by Larry Herndon in the top of the 8th inning, giving the Tigers a bit of breathing room here at Fenway Park. They lead now by 6. This is hit high into shallow left center. Lemon has called for it. He's got it, and there are 2 away. So Willie comes on and gets the first 2 men, and now will face Tony Armas, who's had quite an afternoon for the Red Sox. A single, double, triple, 4 RBIs.
That was a generous triple. Was that in the 4th inning?
Yeah, that was the little blooper down the right field line.
If I'm the scorekeeper, it's a double and he goes to third and throw home. But if they gave him a triple, so what? Doesn't mean a hill of beans, except if he hits a home run here, it's a cycle.
And that does mean something.
That's a rare occasion.
Yeah, I thought initially it'd be scored as a double and 2/3 on the throw, but it's not what they said.
Well, we'll go beat the heck out of that sport. Whoever's keeping score. Is he big?
You can go.
Oh, no, then I won't be going over there. Nice call.
Nice call. Very nice. Very astute.
Very astute call.
Popped up by Armas. There'll be no cycle for him today, as Whitaker camps and makes the catch. Willie comes on and gasses him after the leadoff homer by Don Baylor. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. We'll go to the 9th inning. The Tigers leading the Boston Red Sox by a score of 12-6. Tigers scheduled batters are Dwight Lowry, Lou Whitaker, and Alan Trammell in the 9th inning. Well, a big schedule of Major League Baseball on this date. There are 3 other games in the American League this afternoon, the balance this evening. The National League has a couple of games this afternoon, and the rest are tonight, including a doubleheader. Take a look first at the National League. The Cardinals and the New York Mets are playing at Shea Stadium. They're scoreless, playing in the 5th inning. Los Angeles at San Francisco will be getting underway in about 25 minutes. Game scheduled for tonight: Pittsburgh at Philadelphia. That is a doubleheader. San Diego plays at Cincinnati, Chicago at Montreal, and Houston at Atlanta. In the American League this afternoon at Cleveland, the Orioles lead Baltimore 2-0. They're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Texas and Toronto playing at Exhibition Stadium. The Blue Jays scored 4 times in the opening inning. And that's been all of the scoring. The Jays leading 4-0. They're playing in the bottom of the 5th at Toronto. New York scored a run in the 4th to take the lead over Kansas City 1-0. They're now playing in the 5th at Royal Stadium. Tonight, Milwaukee plays at Chicago, Minnesota's at Seattle, and Oakland plays at California. So that brings you up to date with everything else that's going on. Here in Boston, the Tigers lead 12-6.
And we're losing about half our crowd. They're giving up. They think the Tigers have enough runs after that last inning. A lot of them are bailing out and heading home.
I believe that's Kevin Romine, who has gone into the ball game to play right field. Lowry launches it toward left field. It's curving, and it is off the wall, a fair ball, and Lowry goes in with an easy double. So the hit parade continues. The Tigers matching their previous season's high, 20 in a single game. Second hit for Lowry.
Pitch is on the outside part of the plate, up in the strike zone, and Dwight hits it up off the wall. It's not very far out there. They claim it's 300 and some feet. There's a lot of hitters and pitchers that'll dispute it, no matter what the tape says. Seems awfully close. Ball gets up on that wall, has a big effect in this ballpark.
Lou Whitaker has 3 hits this afternoon in 4 at-bats and has scored 3 runs. The top 3 men in the Tiger order, Whitaker, Trammell, and Gibson, have scored 10 times this afternoon for Detroit. Correction, 9 times. Whitaker 3, Trammell 3, and Kirk Gibson 3. Total of 9. Two strikes the count to Whitaker. It's outside for a ball. Outside for a ball. 2-2 to Whitaker. And he pops this one foul. Might be in play. Boggs is over near the wall and grabs it for out number 1. One out of the Detroit 9th inning. Lowry is at second base, and Alan Trammell will come up. It was Trammell's single in the 5th inning that broke a 3-3 tie and put the Tigers back in front, and they have not trailed since. Tigers led 2-0 and 3-1. Red Sox scored 2 in the 4th, tied at 3-3, and then Trammell came through with a 2-run single in the 5th inning when the Tigers scored 4, and Detroit has been out front since that time. Here's the 0-1 pitch inside. One pitch and a liner to left for another base hit. Lowry was hung up between second and third, not knowing whether Romero would pick it off. So he'll stop at third base, and Trammell has his 3rd hit of the afternoon. Number 21 for the Tigers. The 4th off Stanley, and the 21 hits for Detroit is the highest total they've had in a single game this year. Kirk Gibson is the batter. He's 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. He has scored 3 times. 1 out. We're in the 9th inning. Tigers have runners at first and third. Bouncing ball, could be 2. Romine scoops it over to Barrett. The relay, double play. So the Tigers bid to add some more to their total. Ends with a double play for Detroit. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 1 man left. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's Detroit 12 and Boston 6. Scheduled batters coming up for the Red Sox are Gedman, Romero, and Boggs, but John McNamara may make some changes as we go through the bottom of the 9th. Willie Hernandez came on after Jack Morris had yielded the leadoff home run to Don Baylor in the 8th inning and got Evans, Buckner, and Armas with no problem. So the Tigers take a 12-6 lead into the bottom of the 9th inning. The executive producer of Pro-Am Sports is William Glenn. The senior producer is Michael Smith. Today's game was produced by Jerry Hausfeld and directed by Jim Holley. Today's coordinating producer was Frank Albin. Our production coordinator is Kristen Studebaker, and our production manager is Christine Accabetti. We thank them all for their help. Now the Tigers, if they hang on, and should hang on for a victory here this afternoon, can pick up the game lost last night. And if they can get a strong performance out of Eric King and keep their bats going, perhaps pick up a game with a victory tomorrow afternoon and leave here 5 games behind. They came in 6 out, dropped to 7 as a result of the 8-5 loss last night. Maybe back up to 6 if they pick off this one this afternoon, and a victory tomorrow will be very important. It'll get them back to within 5 of the Red Sox.
Yes, and they really need to. There's still a lot of games to be played, of course, a lot of baseball left, but this is the team, and this is the last shot you have one-on-one with this team. So you need to win as many as you can against them, and you'll just have to take your chances. Whoever plays best in September is going to win it. I think because there's going to be 3 or 4 teams right there that can challenge the Red Sox. They're going to have to continue to play well on through September.
Rich Gadman will lead it off for the Red Sox. He's 0 for 2 today. First pitch from Hernandez is low for a ball. Red Sox with a total of 9 hits. Tony Armas has been the big noise. He has 3. That's pulled foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Our next telecast is set for Tuesday evening. Airtime 7:30 from Tiger Stadium. The conclusion of Game 1 of the doubleheader, matching the Tigers and the California Angels, and the final game of that double dip in its entirety. Oh, and away for a ball, 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch, in for a strike, and a beauty. 2-2. Sounds like Sparky, doesn't it? I don't know if we've got a field microphone right next to the Tiger dugout or not, but it sounded like Sparky urging Willie on. 2-2 pitch. Just got a piece of it. Toronto expanding its lead over Texas now to 12-1. They're in the 6th inning. Cleveland leading Baltimore 2-0. They're in the 6th inning. Kansas City leading New York 4-1. They're in the 6th inning. Ground ball right side. Lou has it. And there's 1 out of the 9th inning. Well, if the Indians hang on this afternoon, they have a 2-0 lead. The Tigers can leap over the top of the Baltimore Orioles and move back into 3rd place. Just got word from the press box. The 21 hits the Tigers have this afternoon are the most they've had since they had 23 at Texas on July 7th of 1978. 1 ball, 1 strike to Romero. That's in for a strike, and it's 1-2. One-two pitch from Hernandez, misses outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Foul ball out of play. It stays at 2-2. And another foul back on the screen. It's one of those hot, humid afternoons that causes perspiration to build up on the glasses, and Willie's taking a moment to dry them off.
Been a long one, long day. A lot of runs, a lot of hits. 18 runs and 30 hits so far in this ball game.
Again, the 2-2 pitch. And it's lined to left field. There's Collins. He's got it for out number 2. Romero's been kind of a tough out with the exception of the 7th inning. Hit the ball hard each time. Has only 1 hit to show for it. Wade Boggs will bat with 2 out and nobody on in the bottom of the 9th inning. Jack Morris got him the first 3 times, but Boggs got him in the 7th. A base hit up the middle. Strike 1 to Boggs. The pitch from Hernandez. Swung on, knocked down by Willie. He hustles over, picks it up, and throws him out. Nice play by Willie Hernandez to end the game. Willie knocked it down. It was hit like a rocket. And Hernandez scrambled over and drilled it over to first base to get Boggs and close out this marathon this afternoon. For the Red Sox in the 9th, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. Our final score, the Detroit Tigers 12, the Boston Red Sox 6. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment on Pro-Am Sports.
Tiger Baseball has been brought to you by Highland Superstores. Highland, everything you never expected from an appliance store with everything you need to make your sports viewing more enjoyable. By Stroh's and Stroh Light. Now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is spoken here. By Ford and your local Ford dealers. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by True Value Hardware. More than just a name, it's their way of doing business.
Here are the totals for today's game. The Tigers 12 runs, 21 hits, no errors, 9 left. Boston 6 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, 4 left. Boyd, the starter and loser, his record is now 11-9. Stewart in the 5th, Zambito in the 8th, and Stanley in the 8th inning. Jack Morris, the starter and winner for Detroit, his record is now 15-7. Hernandez came on in the 8th and pitched extremely well and finished it up. Alan Trammell picks up the game-winning RBI, his 5th of the year. 34,806 were here to watch it. Well, there were candidates galore for the J.C. Penney Tiger Player of the Game award today, but we're going to give it to Larry Herndon, who exploded this game in the 8th inning. It was kind of a nip and tuck, although the Tigers led, and sometimes comfortably, but it was Herndon that put it out of reach with a pinch hit, grand slam home run in the 8th inning. So our congratulations to Larry Herndon. He'll receive a gift certificate from J.C. Penney's as a result of this afternoon's efforts. Well, it was a big victory for the Tigers. They evened this series at a game apiece, pulled within 6 games of the division-leading Boston Red Sox, scoring 12 runs, and it could have been a whole lot worse. The Tigers lost some base runners as a result of some aggressive play on the base paths and perhaps some base running that was not in the book.
Well, they had 5 guys picked off, thrown off, made mistakes, whatever, and still scored 12 runs, plenty of runs to win, and they really needed this win. You couldn't afford to lose this one to Boston, the team you're trying to catch. Detroit did what they had to do. Jack struggled a little bit, but that's to be expected as well as he's pitched. He kept him in the ball game and stayed in there and pitched without the greatest stuff in the world and won the ball game, and that's what Detroit needed. And now if they can squeak one out again tomorrow, they'll be ahead of this crew.
Well, they'll take a look at Eric King tomorrow afternoon against Bruce Hurst. Hurst has faced the Tigers before, has not had that much success against the Detroit Tigers. And it's not really a pressure-packed game for Eric King, but a strong performance would be more than welcome.
Oh, it sure would be. I mean, it's not the end of the world, Larry. There are a lot of games left in this season, a lot of baseball to be played. But when you're playing the team, the last time you're going to see them for the season, and you get them head-on-head, if you can beat them here and catching up another game in that loss column, it's a big game.
Well, that's about it from Fenway Park. We hope you enjoyed this afternoon's game. The Tigers the winner, 12-6. We invite you to join us tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock for Off to the Races. Then at 6:30, it's Inside NASCAR, followed at 7 o'clock by Outdoor Odyssey. Then stay tuned for Bruiser Bedlam Wrestling at 7:30, followed at 9:30 by Trackside at Ladbroke DRC. Now for Jim Northrup, this is Larry Osterman saying so long from Fenway Park. Again, the final score of today's game, The Detroit Tigers 12, the Boston Red Sox 6. This has been an exclusive presentation of Pro-Am Sports.